For the 20th century, every decade pretty much had an ism.
I need to brush up on my isms.
Hey, yo, it's Ism, get the money. Yeah, it's Ism, get the money.
Ideologies are always really kind of difficult because they're ideas, they're different ways of looking at the world, and they all end in ism, and isms are intimidating. So today, let me see if I can help you understand the isms.
Yeah. One time, I thought I told you, nigga. Niggas know a nigga about his isms.
Isms have done so much damage, but people still believe in them.
Talking shit, I might just have to get him. Bitch, I got that flow, I got that wisdom. Bitch, say no to me, I'm Mr. Ism.
I hereby turn over to Ism Incorporated everything I have, including my freedom and the freedom of my children and my children's children, in return for which said Ism promises to take care of me forever.
Isms nigga. Thought I told you I'ma have to get him, nigga. Oh, bitch, I got that flow, I got that wisdom. Bitch, say no to me, I'm Mr. Yes.
Isms, in my opinion, are not good. A person should not believe in an ism. He should believe in himself.
And not be clouded with the great isms.
Bitch! What the fuck? Now you about to fucking lose it. Woo. Niggas know a nigga about his isms. Talking shit, I might just have to get him. Bitch, I got that flow, I got that wisdom. Bitch, say no to me, I'm Mr. Ism. Isms nigga. Thought I told you I'ma have to get him, nigga. Oh, bitch, I got that flow, I got that wisdom. Bitch, say no to me, I'm Mr. Ism.
I was like, you don't get your ass off my channel.
Well, I'm sorry, I love that part.
Oh yeah, that's great. Classic.
Oh God.
Classic.
Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Critically Drinking with Kawaii Bree, which is the Ism Show. Hello. We got Wireless Woman. I'll be here. I'm here for this. What's up, Wireless Woman? She stays connected. Yellow Pill commits the dragging. Yeah. Hello, people with the butterfly. Yeah, nice switch up. I see
So
you.
natural, you know what I'm saying?
Always so holistic, wholesome, very wholesome. And
I don't like outside.
You don't like outside?
I do some days, depending on. Am I cold today? I'm always cold. I'm anemic.
Oh, I didn't think about music. I think I'm gonna leave the music off right now because I might play a couple videos. Everybody, just bear with me. Today's gonna be a very casual, staying casual today. I really don't have an itinerary. I really don't have this like set up the way I normally do. I kind of have some points that we may hit, but it's going to be very cash. We're gonna keep it cash today. Hot Isms here. What is up? Take It Home podcast. Chris Classic, the classic alpha in the building, who does have a show coming up. So go over to his channel. Let me see if I got that still in there. Did I do it? Did I do classic or did I do alpha? Bam. Head over to his channel. Make sure you tap in. Don't tap out, because he does have a show. Eventbrite is where you can get the tickets. If you are in the Chicago, Illinois area, somewhere in that vicinity, forgive me, you'll find more information on his page, but make sure you check that out. Outside be like, here comes Bree. Background is creative. Thank you. I just had to, the dragons, because we're going to be using the, what do you call that? The alluding to Game of Thrones. So we're going to be using them as a metaphor. Another visual metaphor for those of you who do not watch Game of Thrones is the calendar, the seasons, the 4 seasons and the calendar. So we'll be using those. But we're going to be talking about ageism today. candidate had asked us to talk about ageism at some point, and I definitely wanted to do that in kind of a loose way because we all experience it differently. A lot of us may even be blind to it. In my family specifically, I know my nephew was the conduit for me to understand ageism because he fought to have a voice as a child because everybody would diminish him or like kind of dismiss him, but he was a whole person. So that was something I know I fought for with him in my family and even in his school. So he fought to have a voice in his own life. So I know ageism affects us all differently. I just want to also acknowledge that this January is Mental Health Awareness Month. So a lot of the topics I typically cover are self-development and mental health related in some kind of way. So I'm going to be doing a lot more of that. I just want to give a shout out to Yella because we had a great conversation. I don't know if that was Friday or Saturday. We had a lot of fun over there on Friday or Saturday. I can't remember which day it was. Sunday, I really enjoyed the conversation or the visual montage we had for Hot Damn I Rock, Kane Carter, and his life and progression. I enjoyed that. And then yesterday, the conversation on Kawhi Bree, Can't Relate, and her Twitch. I'm not sure exactly where she was airing it to, but I really enjoyed the conversation. So shout out because y'all helped me keep my mental health in a good place. But I've been talking long enough. Bree, how are you today? Go ahead and get your little shout
Oh
outs.
yeah, I'm good. We dealing with once again, I said yesterday, when you're a parent to toddlers, there are certain things you have to face down that you would never want to face down. So we are dealing with a lot, but everybody's okay.
Good.
I'm gonna just say, pinworms, toddlers get worms. Y'all didn't know that. If you didn't know, 50% of the population probably got pinworms. You probably got them. So apparently it's very common. It's disgusting. They're harmless. They just make your butt itch. Yeah. Toddlers be having itchy butts because they have worms.
That actually makes some sense. That explains why so
because
many
they put their
people be
hands in
digging
their
their
mouth a lot. She's in a thumb sucking hand and mouth phase, and she went to the country, playing a little dirt. You know what I'm saying? Put your finger in your mouth.
Touch grass, man.
It's quite
touch
disgusting.
Grass.
Don't touch grass, and then touch ass, and then touch
mouth.
Grass to ass to mouth, grass to mouth to ass. It's a cycle, circle of life, and
farm to table.
So I'm not, but you got to wash your sheets every day. Mind you, I wasn't 100% sure, but anytime I see a toddler with an itchy butt, I'm just like, you know what? Just treat them for worms. Just treat them. So I don't actually know if she have them, but I don't play around with it. So it's a lot of
I get you.
And vacuuming and it's just annoying. And then I stayed up to 5 a.m. watching smut TV. So that wasn't helpful at all. That wasn't responsible as a parent whose toddler wakes up early, because now, oh my God, this day has been interesting. So don't stay up to 5 a.m. watching smut TV when you got kids.
Hey, Quantum University says toddler adults have them, and it makes them irritable, and it comes out of their filthy mouths. You know what, Quantum?
Adults do have them. That's what I found out. I was like, apparently a lot of people just have them. They're harmless otherwise. So I'm like,
maybe that's what happened to Glorilla. Maybe that's her problem.
Yeah, she might have worms. She might need a dewormer.
Yeah, good Lord.
She might need a dewormer. She got booty leakage. Grass. You got anal leakage. You might have worms. You might need to treat that. Yeah. So sorry to be gross. But
Big Rig Slap. No, we always come back to butt stuff. Shout out to Big Rig Slap. Easily rigged over there on Knowledge and Relationships, man. Congratulations. I did see that comment that M3 posted. That viewer who was touched by your program, who stumbled upon it and was happy to have found you, and left a comment, left a glowing comment or email, which, I mean, even more for me, a comment on the thing, sending an email, taking the time out to send an email to say to your show, touch them up. That was big for me. That I pay attention to stuff like that. So keep up the good work, bro.
He said this is declining already. Look, that's like level 10 parenting. When you putting tape on booty holes, you are officially level 10 parent. Okay, y'all can't never take that from me. Okay. That's what the doctor say. What's the tape on their butt? I was like, I don't know if I'm this level of parent yet, y'all. Like, I love my kids, but do I have to? Can we just give them the medicine? That's me. Can we just give them the medicine? I don't want to have to do that.
Okay, that is an age related. It is an age related topic still. So I want to flip the dynamic. I want to flip the coin on that age-related thing. So
Yeah.
dealing with butts as a young person, they're still kind of cute. Now
said,
that area and the stuff that comes out of there is not cute. But I mean,
Fecal
they're
matter.
still cute. So it's easier to stomach.
Yeah, because I wouldn't want to have to do that to like my husband or something.
Right. That's
You know
exactly
what I'm
where I
saying?
was going.
Oh,
What about like the
Jesus.
Bobby Brown and Whitney? Because I guess he was like the hard bowels, and she had to.
Oh, impaction. I've had to do that to grown people. It's not fun. It's not fun. I've had to do it to all ages, actually.
As a nurse, though, I guess you would. But what about like spouses? Would you like you gotta go to the doctor, or would you just
better him than me? I mean, like, cause even if you like, just think about if you thought you had something going on with your butt, do you feel safe enough with your spouse to spread your cheeks and have them flash a light on it?
Jesus.
I'm just saying, like.
And what if it's ashy?
It's probably ashy.
Nobody told you.
It's probably ashy. If it was a man, I'm just saying, like, that's a level of love.
Oh, Jesus.
That's love.
That's intimacy and closeness right there. That's some deep stuff.
Intimacy. It's a blind spot you can't see.
Absolutely.
What else? What other reason is there to have a life partner than to see your blind spots?
I mean, the way you put it, when you put it like that, it sounds like perfectly reasonable.
That's love.
But no pun intended. If that person was like, I need you to help me in that way, I think I would pause for a while.
You wouldn't help them? I think
I would, but I think I would have to work myself up to it.
I think if you thought about it on the front end, but when stuff come up and you're like, well, you think something's on your butt, I guess you don't really, when you're in the moment and you love a person, you be like, okay, we looking at your butt now. You don't really have a lot of time to like be like, I'm shook.
I think there's time to be shooketh. Like if there's like nothing bleeding, like I'm on fire or I'm bleeding or I think something's broken, that's immediacy. Right. Be like, I think I ain't been able to poop for 2 days. I think you can just take a look in there.
Oh, see, we're not doing it. No, you're gonna go to the doctor now. I'm not just going. You're gonna have to have been plugged up for a minute, and we're gonna try some enemas, and we're gonna try some other stuff before I have to put my digit up there. Yeah, but that's real love, though. See, there we go. I had to put
a suppository put in by my ex before. It went well for the situation. Okay.
Yeah, suppository.
But now he's an ex.
Be vulnerable enough to ask your lady to put a suppository in.
But now he's gone.
And now they had their story between the two of them. They forever connected. This is holism.
It's not ageism, it's holism. I don't know.
It's holistic. Because you don't have a holistic love if you can't ask your spouse to put a suppository in your butt. Okay. Y'all can say whatever y'all want.
I say, you know what? Now that I've seen this, I say go to the doctor. Because if I do that for you and then I still get the door.
What, just because you put a Tylenol up somebody's butt, now they got to be with you forever?
I mean, yeah.
So we should just do that instead of wedding rings. Get out of here.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's still a circle. It's still a circle. It's still a ring. My finger's going to be in there. So I mean, hey.
Why are we like this? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Oh, it was your spouse at the time. That's even worse.
See, that's good. That's spousal stuff. He said, yeah. See, Rashad had to take it there. Look, he's about it's something about fingers in holes that establish covenants. Things in holes establish covenants. That is the God ordained way. If you just want to sum it up, things in holes establish covenants.
That happened before you got married. Then you got married.
So then they had to marry. Y'all established a covenant.
Okay. Yeah. I'm with that. So if the relationship after if y'all got married, okay, wait a minute. It wasn't your spouse at the time. Got you. He wasn't your spouse.
But y'all
had that very deep moment. Y'all got
they established a covenant via
and then
finger.
It still didn't work out. I'm okay. I'm okay with that. But if we're married and that happens, you got to stay with me forever, no matter what.
That's a covenant. I think that's the God way. Mm-hmm. Because really, when if you say that the sex established, that consummates a marriage.
Yeah,
things and holes establish covenants.
There should be things. There should be non deal breakers, like opposite of deal breakers. Like if it happens during the marriage, you can never leave. If I give you a kidney, you can never leave. If Yeah,
I'm
if
gonna
I
take
give you a
that
body
kidney and
part,
run. You're gonna have
no,
to
if I
come
give
get
you a
that
body
kidney.
part, nope. Body parts entitle me to body parts.
Somebody have a road theory that's why Nick Cannon having all them kids. He trying to get them
So
stem cells to heal himself, and he
no,
might need donors because he got that autoimmune disease.
I can see it.
Yeah, they say he creating an organ for him for himself. One of them a match.
I can see people doing that. I mean, because people use children as labor before. Why not use them as
Yeah.
harvesting body parts? Wow. It just started coming out after that. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Quantum got
Yeah,
all the stories.
It's violent.
My stepmom is giving my dad her
It's
kidney.
violent.
See? That's what's up. That's what I'm talking about right there. That's love. If I can give you my kidney, I'm not giving it to a stranger.
Absolutely not.
That's weird. No. I am an organ donor, but man, I need to get that removed.
Planet Ego.
Planet Ego.
He got a little organ
eating his
farm
kids,
over there.
consuming his kids. Yeah. That's crazy. For pure raw advice about covenants and suppositories, please feel free to subscribe. I know we go into butt stuff. I don't know why.
It's the guy way, okay? Rashawn made me. You don't want to do the ring. Y'all don't want to have that government contract. Man. Make a butt contract.
You know what? Instead of a prenup, it should just like that. It should just be a butt, like because a prenup is a butt, like but something happened. I need to have this.
Yeah, if then statements and coding. Yeah,
but that should be addendums. But
I feel like that's when they talk about the Illuminati too, it's like butt contracts. You do butt stuff, and it really keeps people in line.
Man, Dre, what up, playboy?
Butt stuff keeps people in line.
I don't know. It keeps
you can hold butt stuff over people's head.
Keeps me fearful. I want to go to jail because of butt stuff.
That's what I'm saying. It keeps people in line.
Oh, Jesus.
You know what I'm saying? All that butt clauses.
Oh God. Yeah. Let's pull out of there. No pun intended.
We're so terrible.
Let's get out of it. I'm not sure.
Nothing makes my stomach turn. So y'all, I could go to the depths of hell with depravity. Okay. I'm just saying. So yeah, let's go ahead and take that hard left.
Yeah, let's take a hard left. I don't know why. Why do we always end up there? But
it all ends in butt stuff. Okay.
It all ends in butt stuff. It's
either childhood trauma or butt stuff.
Yeah, because it was spankings ended in butt stuff. What else? Everything ended in butt stuff. Spankings was butt stuff.
Yeah.
Pull the plug. End of life. Butt stuff. That's crazy.
It all goes back to butt stuff.
Butt plug, that is. That's so crazy.
Because it's the ultimate exit. It's the ultimate end. Yeah.
Death is the butt of life.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You know what else is hard? That shit. But now, y'all, today we're going to be talking about ageism. And we're going to be talking about it through the lens of Game of Thrones. Because anybody that's familiar with like the way the world of Game of Thrones was set up, you had like the King's Landing area. There was a middle area, I think, where the Tullys and stuff were. Then you had the north where the Starks were from. Then finally you got to the Night's Watch where the Wall was. The Wall is going to come into play a lot today. Then you had the Free Folk and the Deep North, which is where the White Walkers were. So that's going to be kind of like the progression of life, where everything is like beautiful and lush and green and vivid in the earlier areas where like King's Landing and the High Guard. Everything is beautiful and plentiful and temperate there. That's, your youth. You're going to go into the summer. There was a guy, I can't remember his name, but wherever the Red Wedding took place, he was the bridge.
Yeah.
He controlled the passage in between. That's kind of like that 30s area kind of type.
Dang, we got to be him.
Y'all about him. Because y'all can, that's the area, that's the passage. That's that bridge.
Yeah.
That's that bridge. Okay. Late 30s into close to 40, you're about the Starks. What is that? Winterfell.
Winterfell.
Yeah, because y'all, the North remembers. About that time, you start remembering back on all those good times in your life.
Crisis.
Right,
you get cold. It
starts getting real cold. Sun's getting real low, big
You
guy.
gotta start getting buffed up for them harsh winters that's coming.
Mm-hmm.
Winter is coming.
Winter is coming because you're about to hit the wall. Because the wall, and people have to man the wall. The wall has to be manned, y'all. Jon Snow's out there, but you got to protect because you know what tries to come back? You know what tries to come back for those 40s? Those free folk. The free folk try to creep back. They need to just
Yeah,
stay
the
50.
wall
They need
was
to
the
just stay
wall
50 to 50.
ultimately to keep. I feel like the free folk, like I feel like my mom is like a free folk.
She's a
Like
free
she
folk.
just got old and she like, we on this side of the wall.
Don't care no
and
more.
We kicking it. We not even
Yeah,
trying to come
just kicking
back.
it.
But you know who
Some
trying to
of them
come
do.
back? But you know who really trying to come back? They trying to
The
tear that
White
wall
Walkers.
down.
The
Yeah.
White Walkers, because they see the end. The White Walkers see the end and are trying to come back. Now, the problem is that drives the free folk back. When they start seeing the people, oh my God, now my grandma want to go to the club. You know, my mama want to go to the club. I better come back too. So everybody starts rushing back.
Yeah, them
Everybody
White Walkers
tries to run back.
would herd everybody in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
one of the White Walkers did eventually tear down the wall, but I'm sure we'll get into the closer things to that.
Yeah.
As
So
we
I mean,
work
how did you even want to like talk about this? I want to kind of go in phases. I wanted to talk about youth because we're talking about ageism, and ageism is like discrimination and prejudice based upon your age. So everybody faces it. Everybody is prejudged based on their age. So I'll say minors. Like I talked about my nephew a little bit. My nephew, oh my God, he had a hard time in school because he always wore suits. And because he always wore suits, he wanted to mix it up. So he wore like blue, some other colors, and they were like, no, you can't wear blue and red because gang stuff.
Right.
And we're like, it's a suit, but they're like, it's school policy. So we actually had to get the what do you call that? The school board. The principal had to go to the school board to get the policy revised to allow for suits in any color because they're suits.
Mm-hmm.
So because he was able to vocalize what his needs and concerns were to adults and overcome the ageism, because we'll just put rules on kids. We don't live like them.
Yeah.
And we'll just put blanket rules on them that don't
Seen,
necessarily apply to all. Absolutely. And in the family, the same thing happened. People kind of would play him to the left or like in different social settings. Like he's a smart kid. Like at least listen to what he has to say. Treat him like a person first. And if he just doesn't know enough or doesn't have the experience, then we can address it. But there's definitely ageism. How old was he, if you don't mind? When with the suit thing, that was high school. That was 9th grade. So let's say around 14. But it's been something that's been ongoing in different areas of his life. Like he used to wear suits younger than that, and people would question like, "Why are you wearing suits? And why are you doing
this?" Did he just
this?
like them?
Yeah, he was always different. Like before that, it was costumes. So he wore costumes when it wasn't Halloween, and people would question him. Then eventually the Heath Ledger Joker, when he wore the suit, and then that's when he just suddenly transitioned. He's like, I want to wear a suit all the time. All the time. So yeah, it was super cool to see him progress. I was glad that I made sure that in my family, we were like, want to see, like, do as you're told. I was like, I'm not having that. I can't let him get treated like I was treated.
Yeah, he want to be studious and wear a suit. I was an extra dresser in school as well. So
okay.
I was
extra. How so? Anime?
No, I mean I just wear all kind of shit. Like I thrifted, I put together my own outfits. I wore heels like almost every day. I was just an extra dresser. I was just extra in all the ways. So I understand that.
As a respectful parent, though, you probably believe in not like that prejudice and discrimination. Like you probably allow your kids to have a bigger voice than most people would.
Right? Yeah. I do.
You believe
they
that
can?
Should be
yeah,
like
because my 4-year-old be talking crazy to me. She be talking crazy to me. And yeah, I don't think that age. I think people need to practice. I don't have that ageism thing. I think I'm second generation. I would say because my mom also just kind of let us just be. So I'm kind of second generation. So it's like really the only way I can imagine existing. My mom was very supportive of us in that way. Because we the same height. She be squaring up. So I don't believe in that. And then I look younger than I am. And like now that I'm like 35, it's starting to be like, okay, but I just see how people think young equals like no respect. Even like up until a certain age, like even as an adult, like if people think you're young 20s, like they treat you like so different because I got the young face and Like people still, when I was actually in my 20s, people treated me like so just rude, like disrespectful. Like, I don't know. It was just weird. It's a weird existence. The baby face people, it's a weird existence when you're an adult. And like, it's like this weird ability to like see it from a kid's perspective. Cause like you having a whole adult mind and consciousness, but people who just run up on you treat you away. And it kind of gave, I guess maybe that's probably also why I'm a little bit more empathetic to my kids. Cause I think people treat me like, way younger than I am. And I'm like, dang, this how y'all treating the kids? Like, it's kind of messed up. Like, I remember they told me to go to class. Like, I went to pick up somebody in high school and they was like, go to class. And I'm like, you ain't even gonna let me like say nothing. It's just like, I'm gonna write you up, go to class. Like, you don't even know me. You didn't even give me a chance to say, like, I'm a whole ass adult. Like, I don't actually even go here. Like, it was just the whole dismissive. Like, it's wild how people treat people they view younger than them.
Nah, for sure. I've experienced it a lot in life, of course. But even on the panels, people assume I'm younger than I am. So it's like they do treat you differently because there are prejudices that we put on people based upon their age. We assume that they've gone through certain things and know certain things, but that's when you become a villain. I just want to give a shout out to the wireless woman real quick. She did have like the best young face joke I've heard. She's like, you can't correct if your beard don't connect. I was like, dang, I can't connect you if my beard don't. I can't correct you if my beard don't connect. I thought that was a beautiful one. I know I shouldn't repeat that, but I thought it was beautiful. Oh man, but I think we dismiss young people far too often and too too soon. I think we dismiss young people too soon. I know. That was a good one. I think we dismiss young people too soon. Their experience is valuable. I may actually play this video. I have this video clip when I was on Black Man Unfiltered, but he wasn't a child. It's just, I think I'm gonna save it for later.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking about playing that at some point, but I'm not sure. We'll see how it feels. But I just know we young people do get dismissed quite a bit, and that is the ageism that they face. How do you think we can, as a society, do better? How do you think we can do better about showing up and like I guess treating them more humanely, like they're a whole person,
I think the average person is so mid and basic that they have to feel better than other people to feel better about themselves. So I feel like until you fix your own like fragile ego, I just feel like you're always going to try to find people who you're like above or better than and treat them badly. So I think like that's where it has to come in. Like you have to have like self-confidence, like as a human, you have to be secure in your humanism to treat other people like humans, I
think so. And it could be pride. I think it's a very complicated psychology, because it would also be hard to not think of yourself as better than somebody that you always had to protect and provide for, which is the same way like when women comes to like the gender conversations, I feel like I'm his mother when I have to do certain things for him that he should be able to do for himself, in the opinion. So it's hard to not think yourself better or higher than somebody that you have to take constant care of. So it's probably a little.
I mean, there's a hierarchy in that.
Yeah,
like I'm really comfortable with hierarchies. I think if you're talking about protecting and providing, there's a hierarchy there. But that human respect, once again, is outside of the hierarchy, right? So like, even if I take care of you, like I still respect you as a human. And maybe that's like something that I see as two separate things, because being a nurse, you kind of get, that's like real, like, real life practice with that dynamic. Like I'm caring for you. I'm the person with the knowledge. There's a skewed power dynamic here. But I still respect you as a human, right? And I try to give you room within that to respect your humanity. So I think maybe that's probably why, to me, they feel very separate. Like the hierarchy of existence and knowledge and power are always going to exist, and you're always going to be somewhere in the hierarchy. But I think you're supposed to be stable and confident in your humanity. And depending on what you think humanity means, I think also is going to determine what that means for you. Because some people just like, oh, we're just a clump of cells, we're just meat walking around, there's no purpose. And then I always say I'm in the image of God. So for me, I hold my humanism is in high esteem. So that means that even at the base level of existence, I hold that even in high esteem. But some people don't see humanity that way, right? Like some people see it as a curse. And so I think it's that the problem lies in how people see humanity, I think, in all of these dynamics. Because if you held yourself in high esteem, no matter what hierarchy you fall in, that's gonna keep you balanced, right? But I think it goes back to that base understanding and esteem that you have for how you just show up.
Okay. I can see that. The nursing strike that happened, the older nurses feel overworked and underpaid, but have to do more because they are older and more experienced. They have more experience and
No, they got to do more because they tolerate that shit.
okay.
That's why they
That's
do
a
more.
thing too.
That ageism, because them old nurses used to be so.
Because that's also like a generational thing. We talk about how the boomers and the silent generation took on more that like Xers and down. They're refusing to do. And what's up, Mr. He said in the building, man. Appreciate you, man. Salute to you. What's the vibe, family? Hey, we are talking about good vibes. We're talking about ageism today. How the different, I guess, ages, groupings of life are treated by the others, how we look upon each other, how we treat and mistreat each other. So that's what we're on. But yeah, the vibes chill, man. Very casual today. Very casual, keeping it cool, keeping it chill. Not too heavy today.
Yeah, but they definitely tolerate it. They feel like you're supposed to tolerate it and you should stick it out. And that whole stick around 40 years, 30 years, get your retirement, that whole program runs them. So they tolerate a lot of stuff. The younger nurses be like, I'm finna go. Like, I'm just gonna go be a travel nurse. Like, you want me to be a staff nurse, make less money, deal with all the management, work politics. Like, I'm not finna do that. I'm gonna be a free agent. Like, younger nurses are for the streets. Like, yeah.
Well, so let's age up a bit. So let's leave the kids and talk about that age group. That next group, like the 18 to let's say 30, the young professionals. That group right there. So you start off, of course, like 18 to 21, not even being a full-fledged adult, but being expected to be an adult. You can't drink, can't smoke in a lot of places, can't rent cars. Hotel rooms are a struggle. How then? Where does that ethic come from? That I'm for the streets, because that's not just in the work sector. Like there's a very loose and permissive mentality around that age. Where do you think that comes from?
Permissive?
I mean that's party time, Bree. Come on, it's party time.
You're supposed to do that to some degree. Like, you trying to establish who you. Yeah, like you. Like, okay, like when you're a baby, like you are your mother until a certain age, and then like basically after you go into childhood into young adulthood, you are yourself, but you still are very much formed and molded based on the household you exist in. So when you finally are able to get out of that household, that is your moment to explore your boundaries. You don't know what your boundaries are because you lived under your parents' boundaries. So like you put on an identity somewhere around 15ish, maybe, right? And then you play around with it in school in a very controlled environment. And then when you get out of that, you're supposed to be able to like, okay, now let's try this identity out for real, and push the boundaries. I think you're supposed to do it. Now, the thing is, what are the boundaries is going to depend on the person and also the parental structure that you were raised under. We know strict, very authoritative parents, their children have problems with boundaries. So they typically go way rubber band effect, right? Without that authority present, they go way farther out than somebody who has grown up knowing their boundaries and having their boundaries respected and understanding how to explore your boundaries and like how to respond to like. So yeah, I think it's normal. Now, I don't think the extreme reaction should it don't have to be that bad, but I mean the type of parenting that people are choosing is really affecting how that boundary pushing looks. But yeah, I think it's normal.
Okay, all right. I can respect that point of view, the way you articulated it. Now, I the party time, like the full-fledged hedonism, I don't think you have to push all of the boundaries,
It depends on how
like
you was
in
raised. I was
all
raised as a
equally.
Jehovah's Witness, so I leaned
Man,
into
listen.
hedonism. Let me lean all the way into hedonism. So listen to me. I was raised under a very strict religious household. It was cool. I was fine with it. But when I got free, your girl was we going into all the pleasures. We gonna do it all. We try everything.
The only thing is, like you said, it depends on the person because everybody doesn't have the same. I can't think of like there's like it's not temperament. Temperament is a part of it, but there's the knowing what to and what not to do. Everybody doesn't have the same makeup because some people don't come back from that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Some
There
people
you
don't
get
come.
if you don't have grounding forces around you. Definitely, I told y'all. I keep telling y'all who I would be if I didn't have a husband, kids. I'd be Doja Cat. I'd be bald headed alien girl. That's who I would be. So you can come back. It's if you're a very open person, it's hard to. You have to have some grounding force to have a reason to come back. I don't think it's like people get stuck. I just think if you're a very open person like me, I'm very open. So like there's no set way I have to be. I could be whatever I want to be. So I wouldn't look at it as they can't come back. I think you're just looking at people who are very open and very like pleasure seeking, just really leaning all the way in as far as they want to go because they don't have no reason to come back.
Oh no. I'm definitely talking about people that have a problem. They find problems out there in the exploration. Yeah, because not everything that is in the dark is, the night is dark and full of terrors.
Full of terrors.
And full of terrors, yeah. So
full of terrors.
Exactly. Yeah, you just talked about
Melisandre ass.
Yeah, you talked about Idaho. You just talked about Idaho.
Well, he leaning, yeah.
So I mean,
but that's desire.
But
he leaned into his desires. Yeah,
there's a lot of people that you're running to out there partying, and they're harboring those dark desires.
I found that my venturing into the darkness of desires, I'm Melisandre. Okay, I can make fire. Okay, I'm very comfortable on the other side of the wall. I got powers out here. I find that because I've gone over there, I can recognize deviance. I know deviance. I know people when I see it. I feel like to some degree, it made me better equipped to just have that thermostat. Like when people say, "Oh, he look off," in that weird off way. I don't know. I feel like it's better made me able to identify.
That helps. I mean, if you have what do you call that? Discernment. If you have discernment and you can kind of see where people are coming from, that definitely helps you navigate. But I know some people that got lost. I mean, they made songs about it.
They probably was already lost. Turned out. But that's the thing. Like I think to some degree, like when you go out into the ocean of chaos and the darkness and the wild, like you go out into the north, past the wall, you venture out into that darkness. Your true self will come out. That's why when we were talking about that killer guy, I was like, people who haven't gone on the other side of the wall tend to have a problem with understanding that. Like, is it the movies? Is it the video games? It's not. It's them. But you're seeing a person who has removed the structure and they've gone all the way into their heart's desire. And that desire would have been there even if they suppressed it for the sake of civility. But that's why I say that's not necessarily better because sometimes it's, I present as normal, and then the day comes where I snap and people be like, well, where did it come from? Oh, they always had it in them.
Yeah.
They just didn't explore it.
Is that like the shadow person, Brie?
No, everybody got a shadow. I'm talking about deviance. Deviance. Yeah, I'm talking about deviance.
That's just dark passenger.
Yeah, I'm talking about a dark passenger. Like those people they rock it with that dark passenger be there. Like that's the thing.
So Enya, what she's talking about is like, imagine there was a struggle Kevin. I know you hate the struggle Kevins, and a struggle Kevins when they're talking for about 30 minutes, you know that thing that bubbles up in you in the chat. Yeah. Imagine that all the time, no matter what was going on, all the time that you felt like a struggle Kevin was in your ear, making you rage out like that.
Yeah, you be hearing it in they talk because it's somebody who's gone into the ocean of chaos. Because I don't have that deviance in me. I mean, what I did was wild, but it was not. I just don't have it in me to harm other people intentionally. Like that deviant stuff. I'm not a deviant. Like I'm not a sexual deviant. I'm not a social deviant. So that no matter how far I went into the hedonism, that wasn't gonna come out of me.
Yeah, people are predisposed to certain things. There are people that are more violent. There are people that are more sexual. There are people that are like more addictive personalities that probably shouldn't try drugs. But that's what I mean by some people don't make it out, because somebody will experiment with that one drug. You know, it might not be a hardcore drug, but it just starts them down a path that they never recover from. They're around.
But I found that the people who don't explore it have their own version of that, but it's socially acceptable.
Now that's true too.
Yeah. So that's why to me, I don't see them as separate. I think it's just a social acceptance. Like addictive people do addictive things, whether it's within social norms or not.
I get you. I get what you're saying. That mentality exists regardless, just where it's directed at. Is that something we pay attention to? Only thing I would say is sometimes it derails you from functionality. That's where my line of demarcation is. Like, I know I have a sugar problem. I know I have a problem with sugar. I have an addiction to it, just like somebody else might have an addiction to something else, because I'm craving it. I'm craving it, but I know it wouldn't keep me from showing up to work. Whereas somebody else wouldn't be able to show up because they started drinking way too early that morning and they just couldn't make it. They couldn't drive.
They didn't have nothing to ground them. They didn't have nothing to push them to actually conform for the sake of functionality.
Right. So that's what I mean by not coming back. When it impairs your ability to live, form relationships, function in life, some people don't come back in those ways in different realms of exploration. So that's what I meant. But no, you're absolutely right. I do believe, like you and Yellow were saying, you do got to experiment. You do got to push boundaries, but people are not being taught how to do that safely.
Yeah, because you push a boundary and pick up a STI, pick up AIDS or HIV. I mean,
and even travel is a boundary, and you can't travel with everybody. We're not even teaching people who to travel with, because we're seeing now videos coming out where people are being attacked by their so-called
travel
friends,
companions,
or being threatened.
Or having kids in the explorative phase.
Having kids.
Okay. Go ahead and
have them babies. Cutie. What is welcome back. It's been a minute.
Yeah. So I think the explorative phase in that age group is totally okay and normal, but it's once again the problem people have is what you pick up in that explorative phase though.
Yeah, can you put it back down?
Yeah. Now people do get to judge you based on what you picked up along the way, and that's the part that people had the problem with. Well, I was young and dumb. Okay, well, you're old and problematic now.
Ooh, can religion fall into? Absolutely. Religion is a part of the path from childhood on up. That can be anything.
Yeah. Falling, what he mean, like falling?
I was just going to say it could be on either side. That could be the thing that you fall into.
Oh, yeah.
That is problematic. It could also be the thing that pulls you out of a problematic situation. So religion's
because religion's just a structure. It's just a system. Like it's a ground. It's supposed to be a grounding force. So, but some mysticism can throw you into the ocean of chaos. So it just really depends. Yeah.
Now I would say right around now, the manosphere has really taken the 30 to 37. The Kevin Samuels. That part, I guess, would be he says you're hitting the wall, but I'm gonna call that the north. That's Winterfell. That's Winterfell because that's that zone where you're approaching the wall, but you're not at the wall. When you're at the wall because it's really big, it's really massive, and it's really intimidating.
Yeah.
But there's a point before that. But like you said, it's starting to get cold. People starting to bundle up a little bit more, a lot more fur.
Yeah.
A lot more fur.
It's not supple. We ain't eating grapes no more, like in Westeros. I always think of when Oberon was in Westeros for the wedding or whatever. No, when he fought in the mountain, and it was all luscious, and they was eating grapes and just drinking wine and just lounging in their clothes.
Beautiful.
Them days gone. Winterfell is like blue and cold, and ain't nobody eating grapes. We eating stew and porridge.
Jesus. Man,
that's the 30s.
That's them early to mid 30s, mid to late 30s. That's that zone of life, and things start to get a little real. And you're closer to the wall. There's more conversation about the wall.
Yeah.
It's more present. So
Yeah.
people like it's the last stop before the wall. You know, people like load up for supplies right there before they're heading to the wall. That's the
Yeah, because
last
you could
stop.
probably pull up on the wall, you know, on a little short trip from Winterfell.
Yep.
Because I mean, for all the people in Westeros know King's Landing, like, does the wall even exist? You know,
Barely. Because they
which we
laughed at
saw
him.
that.
They laughed.
Yeah,
And
in
they
the
go, oh, this
show.
stuff north of the wall? We'll never see
Right.
that. We'll never see that. And that's how it is with young people. I don't have to worry about the wall.
They
I'm so far
Cersei.
away.
It's giving Cersei. Like when they brought the
Arrogant.
White Walker, she was like, I mean, they gonna kill y'all first.
Yeah, I got plenty of time.
I got plenty of time.
Plenty
Y'all,
of time.
this is a threat to y'all. They're like, y'all bringing this over here to me. I'm
Yep.
across oceans. Like, it's hot. Like, I'm not concerned. That's, yeah, young people be looking at it. I mean, I think, but just like in Winterfell, it can be charming in its own ways.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's not bleak yet. It's not
No.
on the wall. So
It's not bleak, and people find a way to live in
Right.
every zone. So no matter where you are, people find a way to live. So it doesn't have to be like a doom. So even when they
yeah,
talk
but
about
you
the
got to be
wall, it just
intentional in your 30s.
gotta be
Just like
intentional.
they probably have to be in Winterfell. Like you can't just be like eating the food. You know, you got to make sure you keep food, and you know, them harsh
Mhm.
winters are real. So
She was
she
very
was so
unbothered.
she
She had to be
was.
convinced that the wall was a problem.
She
But
still didn't care.
no,
So
but even you're right. She still didn't. But a lot of people
mm-mm.
did. Like some
Yeah.
people, like that shook a lot of people. And
Yeah.
I think that even when we see people give advice, they're like, look at this example. What's going to happen when you hit the wall? And everybody's like, yeah, it's not going to happen to me.
That's not gonna be me.
It's not going to be me. It's not going to happen. I'm not going to face those problems. I'll be smarter than that. I'm too smart for that. And
ultimately, Cersei was right though. She never
Was
had
she?
to face down the White Walkers.
But why?
Well, the other people did the fight for her. So I mean, in a way, she was right.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? They did the fighting for her, and then they came for her. Like it eventually got to her, but at the end of the day, she did not have to face the White Walkers, and she did not die from White Walkers. So, I mean,
She did not die from White Walkers, but something's gonna
yeah.
get you. Something's gonna
Oh
get
yeah,
you.
something's
Something's gonna
get you.
fall
And-
down on your head.
Oh, the next generation came and got her ass.
Exactly. So one way or another, you're gonna get got. But it's like
Yeah.
we have to stop thinking that what's coming is not a threat. We have to, and I think that's especially big in the Black community. We do not see mortality as a problem. I promise you. Excuse me. I did not down on me. It did not that I have a lot of assets. Not that I have assets at all. Not that I even have an ass. But I realized that I've never written a will. Never. And I'm like,
Yeah.
wait a minute. Why are we not me? I'm like, why have I talk about this stuff all the time. Why have I not taken it more seriously?
I mean, I still haven't done mine.
Why?
And I got kids. I mean, we
we
got
need
life
to be
insurance
planning for this
policies and
stuff.
stuff, but yeah. And I
Winter is
haven't gone
coming.
there.
Winter
It's
is
coming.
coming. And a lot of people don't even make it to the wall. Some people die in Westeros. Some people
I mean,
die
yeah,
before they get to
the
Winterfell.
wall moved quickly on Cersei. She didn't have to face the ice wall, but it came for her ass. And she was not ready.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, she was now like you said, this is a generation thing. It's like, all of a sudden the generation behind her came up. She wasn't even aware of it.
Mm-hmm.
This was like, I like the Cersei versus the Daenerys thing, because it's like, well, I'm the object of desire. I'm the woman who's manipulated men with my looks. And then here comes this younger, prettier, girl with dragons, and it's like, oh, hold on. She wasn't ready for that.
Yeah, she's hot. Dragon, she's hot.
She hot. She's hotter than you, Cersei. She's hotter than you. I mean, she wasn't, that day comes. That day comes for everybody.
Man, that's a crazy. I didn't even think about that part, but it's true. And I did have a clip to play real quick if I can. Give me a sec. See if I get this right. I knew it was going to do that. Uno momento. About that very same dynamic. I'm going to bring this up real quick before I hit enter. It's going to autoplay, I believe.
Oh.
Let's see. Oh, guess what on autoplay?
You know, age, fuck that number that we get born with. It doesn't define us. You know, we create our reality and we can be whatever age we want to be. And I hate that, especially as women, especially in Hollywood, before they even say your name, they say your age. They don't do this to men. They don't do this to men. And it really makes me angry that we're always trying to deflect that number. You know, when we're too young, we want to be older. When we're older, we want you to forget, you know, the age. You know, like, why can't we just be?
Yeah, because I thought that was interesting. I see your face though. Was that like what's that face?
You go first.
No, I just find it interesting. I didn't, because I'm not a woman. I didn't think about coming up. When I was coming up, I didn't think much about the problems that women faced. Of course, like most guys, I just don't understand y'all's world. It never dawned on me that I rarely saw women on the news above a certain age.
Right.
Like they just aged out. They were always in this zone, and they always had this certain look. Then also in other like movies and television shows, I never noticed like the phasing out of certain actresses, where the actors would stay throughout my life.
What
But
Cameron
the
Diaz is
actresses
right now?
I don't know.
She chilling.
I was just wondering about that. Yella had played a movie and she was in. I was like, where is she at? She's probably
chilling. She old.
She's probably not going to pop back up until she's agrees to play somebody's mom, and she's probably not ready for that mentally.
She don't want to do it. Yeah, she probably just like I'm no. Yeah, she probably just don't want to do it. Yeah.
But Yella
I mean,
said,
Jamie Lee Curtis is like, you know, a hero for her aging on screen, because most women just kind of disappear and then come back as somebody's mama, like you said.
Yep.
I think Reese Witherspoon has done it as well. She's aged on screen. You saw her. She's working constantly through that age. Out.
Hey, Dawn. Hello.
Yeah.
But I thought it was interesting because, you know, Halle Berry is one of those people that seems to defy, you know, black women had that whole thing was like define age, you know, I'm not, well, don't come again.
I'm not trying to hear Halle Berry ass talk about ageism. Girl, shut up.
Why
First
not?
Of all, shut up, Halle Berry.
You know the role she's been offered.
Because your whole career was based off you being a young, fine, beautiful woman, and now you just aged out and you mad about it, and now you could be whatever age you want to be. And it's, girl, no, you're just getting older. That phase of your life is over. You're not the it girl. You're not the one that men look at and desire. You can't use that to sway people anymore, and that's okay. Just go into the next phase gracefully instead of trying to say I could be whatever age I want to be. No, you can't. You're the age you are. Okay. And that's okay. You can't change you can't change our reality of our experience of you because you don't like the fact that now you don't have the power you used to have. Get over it. Okay. You wasn't out here as a method actress. That wasn't your thing. Okay. You wasn't out here like Tilda Swinton or whatever, who she be transforming for every role. That wasn't who you were. You were the sexy woman on screen, and that's the people who always want. Age doesn't matter. Yeah, you know, it matters. Okay. And that's literally what you build your platform on, which was fine. But girl, just grow up. You're old now. It's fine. Be somebody mama on screen, which is what she's doing. You're still beautiful for your age. It's fine.
Hit her with the for your. Oh,
yeah, she's beautiful for her age. But if you put this age Halle Berry next to 20 years ago Halle Berry, we all know who's gonna win. So, like, let's not pretend that that's not a normal thing when you age. Like, it's okay, girl. Like, it's all right. You can be old, girl. It's all right.
So you're telling her she can find a perfectly suitable living on the other side of the wall. The free folk are living just fine.
If she was my grandma, I'd be like, my grandma is fine as fuck. Like,
for your age.
For your age. She'd be a fine grandma. She's still a beautiful woman. Like, if you put her next to her peers, she's still beautiful. That's the thing. You don't have to start doing all this. Age doesn't matter. No, it matters. It's okay. Like, that's the part I don't like. She's delusional.
Yeah, because she wants to come back on, like you said, she wants to come back south of the wall.
Yeah.
She wants to come back. She remembers, like you said, the grapes and the wine at Westeros and
it's
at King's
okay.
Landing. She had a wonderful and a marvelous time. Like you said, she was very wealthy and
You lived it
prosperous.
up. You prospered from it. You did your thing, girl. It's cool. Like, it's just like, I mean, like, really?
I get it, but so let me ask you then: how, as a woman, how does that, especially as a woman, I know it's harder for women than it is for men. Once you've hit that around that 40 zone, it probably starts a little sooner. It probably starts
Sooner.
mid-30s.
Unless you look
I've,
younger, but it starts. I mean, it starts. You know, you could, yeah.
What did Hallie say? Dawn, you missed that? Let me play that again real quick for you. Let me play that again for Dawn.
You know, that number that we get born with, it doesn't define us. You know, we create our reality and we can be whatever age we want to be. And I hate that, especially as women, especially in Hollywood, before they even say your name, they say your age. They don't do this to men. They don't do this to men. And it really makes me angry that we're always trying to deflect that number. You know, when we're too young, we want to be older. When we're older, we want you to forget, you know, the age. You know, like, why can't we just be?
And this is one thing I've noticed about people who exist in some form of a privilege. It's only when that privilege is taken from them.
Right.
And I'll say that, like, right now in the whole gender dynamic, now that men are losing the privilege, now we're like, why can't we just be
we
humans?
should just get away. We should just be human. Now, girl, bye. Girl, bye. No, you can't be whatever age you want to be, first of all. That's dangerous rhetoric. First of all. Second of all, now that you ain't the it girl no more, now forget, I want to just be. Girl, bye. Girl, bye. You could be angry. You could be upset that you hit the wall. That's okay. You could be upset, but trying to go into ages and exist, girl, bye. Sit down somewhere.
And I think I agree with Quantum. I know it's wrong, but I get what she's trying to say. For me, better articulation would be useful. Like, don't allow your age to define how you show up in the world. Like, you can still be confident at any age.
You can find happiness at any age. You still have value at any age.
Absolutely. That would have been better articulation of what I want to believe that she's saying. I'm probably trying to project, but some of the language she chose was problematic. Like, age doesn't matter. No, because I don't want an 8-year-old talking about their 60.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's dangerous
like,
rhetoric. We're not doing that.
Yes.
Okay. I'm always like, we don't play about the babies. Okay. So if I hear rhetoric that's gonna trickle down to be problematic for protecting the vulnerable people, I'm not riding with it. That's dangerous rhetoric. You have value at every age. That's what I will say.
I'm with you. And y'all did bring up a point, because they are talking about trans ageism now.
Yeah,
like,
and I don't fuck with it. So y'all can kick rocks.
Sounds like jealousy, envy. You can be confident all you want, but it is what it is.
Time is the rule. Time is the rule of the realm.
Exactly,
so your age matters.
Yeah, because if you get arrested at 60 talking about I identify as 8, they're not going to send you to juvie.
Yeah, and if my 10-year-old was drinking, somebody, I feel 21.
I feel mature.
I'm going to jail for giving her alcohol. Okay. Hey, girl, come on. Get out of here. Sorry, Hallie. You find value in your new life, you know, in this new.
Yeah, the label is new and not the point. You're absolutely right, Quantum. And I know Bree coined a beautiful term for the wall. Bree coined a beautiful term for the wall because she talked about the toxic aunties when we did something about age before. And it's called the bitter barrier, because a lot of people cross that barrier in their life where they're no longer getting the attention that they used to get. And all of a sudden they get bitter when the options start drying up, whatever those options are, career paths that you could have taken, you have less time to pursue. Relationships, you have less time. Family, maybe you have eggs, might be losing those eggs diminish. So after all those options start to dwindle, they hit a bitter barrier. You know, Kevin Samuels called it the wall. But Bree
Yeah.
called it the bitter barrier. Tell us about this bitter barrier and why. How
People
does
bitter.
it do men hit the bitter barrier? Or is it just mostly women?
I mean, what people say to midlife crisis, yeah, men hit it too. I think it's just that point where you look back over your life and like I've heard people talk about passing that point, and some people are bitter because they're like, I listened to everything everybody said, and here I am, still fucked up, you know? Men go through that too. I did all the things, and I feel like I'm just a wallet. I feel like my family doesn't value me. I don't feel like a human. Nobody likes me. I sit in my corner of the house. You banished me to the cave. You know, I think men have that moment too. Women do too. It's just different reasons. You know, maybe your kids don't even like fuck with you no more. You know, you bitter. You know, you try to chat up your husband you been ignoring, and he like, bitch. Like I said, you thought I was feeling you. I mean, so people get bitter. People
Yeah.
get bitter. Yeah.
If you're not where you wanted to be in life, definitely. I've seen a lot of people get bitter when they hit that zone because you feel it. You feel it when your options have shaped. Because the world starts to give you feedback. You go for something and you get rejected in a place where you never used to get rejected. You're like, wait a minute, what's going on? The first time
That's
it
why I
might
be
be a
like, them
fluke.
women talk about I can start over. No, you can't.
Yeah.
No, you can't. No, you can't. You can't start over.
I look back at their plan and be
Yeah.
mad.
Look back at what the
happened?
summation of their decisions. The summation of their decisions they don't like, because let's not make it mystical. It's not karma, it's not everybody else's. I always talk about those points in life. When you hit 40, you get to look back and do I like what I've been doing? You get a chance, you can change it up before you hit 50. After when you start hit 50, it's you really settled in. You look like what you've been through when you hit 50. That's what I be saying. Like when you hit 50, you look like what you've been through. You can fake it to about 50. And then when people hit 50, if they weirdos, they look like weirdos.
It catch
If
up
they
to you.
it catch up to you. You look like
Jesus.
what you've been through once you hit 50. So you still got time at 40, but it is a lot of time behind you.
A lot
to
more
look
time
back.
behind you than
Yeah.
ahead for most of us.
Yeah.
Because by 40, and we were talking about this yesterday, and I know Quantum's saying life gets better at 40. I know it gets different.
It gets different. Because that's what I say. A lot of people, parents start getting older, and like you get new stresses and new things, and there's happiness in every phase. That's why I was saying with Hallie, like you have value and there's happiness and there's new challenges in every phase of life. You know what I mean? So why not just focus on being great in the phase you're in? You know?
Yeah. Any man doing the same thing in his 40s, he was doing in his 20s. He has wasted 20 years of his life. I hear you.
He be looking back. But see, some men do what they think they're supposed to do all that time. And then they look back and say, this ain't really fulfilling. You know?
Yeah.
And that can feel like a waste.
Shout out to anyone in here from Cali. Yeah, you're dealing with lakes on the highways. Yeah, I heard that water's coming down out there, boy. They said it didn't rain in Southern California, but I don't know where it's raining out there. But I've been hearing about mudslides and man, all kinds of stuff. Quantum didn't say that. Quantum read that. I don't know what Quantum's talking about. Life gets better at 40. Yeah. Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But we see. I see.
Quoting you is quoting you.
Yeah,
that's a slogan that's a slogan that's been out there forever. So
yeah, I think things change for what I gather.
About to make me beat y'all up.
Yeah, it's just a response to it. Yeah, my bonus baby's in Cali, so I've been watching it closely.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
But I think some of the stuff
good now?
She's good for right now. I've been checking in and they're good. So they got a lot of family in different areas. So I would assume they would flee. We just been checking in, of course. If they need anything to get out of there, we can help them out. But they're good right now. They're kind of like out the way, closer to the mountains.
Because I haven't watched it. But I don't know what part of California is being hit. Because California is a really long state. So
the Bay Area is being really hit. I know. So life is amazing in the 40s. But that's if you look back and you're happy with what you did. That's why I say like it's the bitter barrier. Like people who were intentional and they were present and made choices. I think you go into that phase gracefully. Like my mom is like, I don't even know how old my mom is. She might be almost 70, but she's like the happiest. Yeah, she's like the happiest woman and like she's so happy. So like you can be happy in all of these phases. I think people who weren't intentional kind of just look back and they get bitter, you know?
Yeah. depending on your choices. Like your today is gonna be set up by all of your choices yesterday.
Yeah, because
So
you broke it down. Like, can you break down like what you did on my stream, like the quarter life
what
crisis, where you learn about the world?
Because I think people go through three crises. I think people go through three crises. You go through one in your 20s. That one is the one where the world is not quarter life crisis. And that's the one where you figure out the world is not what you were told. You went through all K through 12, you came out at 18, maybe you didn't move out the house till 2021. That's where like the red pillars are. They realize the world is not what I was told it was, and I'm not prepared for it. That's your first crisis. But you're typically young enough to adjust because you see all that time, you see all that roadway ahead of you. Like, I can adjust, I can flip it. Most people, or they just have enough time to where life is going to make you change, because you after you spend 5 years talking about red pill stuff, life is just going to force you in a different path. There's no way to stay in the same thing. Life is about change. So that's that quarter life crisis. The half life crisis is the one that most people are used to. That's the one where you figure out you're not who you thought you were. The choices that you made didn't pan out. The choices that you made weren't the ones you necessarily wanted for yourself. Maybe you followed the path that you were following a parent. Maybe you followed the path that you thought would be good based on society. They told me to get married and have kids. I don't even like kids. Now I'm stuck with these suckers. So quarter life crisis is typically that, where you start to reject everything about yourself that you didn't intend to take on. Then there's that end of life crisis. That's that one where all that regret sinks in if you did not make the right choices. And it's like, the world was wrong in the quarter life. Half life, I was wrong. Then the third life is my life was wrong. If your life wasn't set up right, if you made the wrong choices, didn't foster connection, relationship, and community, and you get to that end and you're looking back, and the only thing you could still talk about is like your poke-eye days. You're still talking about what you did in high school. Or when I was 20, I used to, and all, you can't come out of that nostalgia. You're just wrapped and steeped in things that happened in the past, and you have no memories or nothing being forged now. That's another crisis that a lot of people hit too. And they might try to go back into trying to be young again or something, because they just don't have anything. They haven't done anything for the last 30 years. So that is typically what happens. And the last part of that is, we also have to understand that half-life isn't at 50. Most, especially in the Black community, we're not living to 100 on average. Like, most of us as men are dying like 65, 55 to 65.
Yeah, that's why the
And Black
midlife
women,
crisis is like late
65 to
30s to
75.
40s. Yeah,
Exactly. So
not
50 is not
50s.
midlife.
Yeah, people had that switch at like between 35 and 40, like you said.
JP.
That crisis. But yeah, you can be intentional and you can always change. And I think that's what the point of those crises are for you to take a second to be like, I'm not happy with what I'm seeing. Let me do something different moving forward. But if you just keep moving forward, you know, and that's more on you. That's on you, right?
Yella. He said 20 bad, 30
Consistency is all
bad, 40
is
bad.
he talking about
Consistency
other
is all I
people?
ask
Or,
for.
he said consistency. He just want consistency. That's,
Come on, man.
that's my dad. He just decided to just be consistently trash. He old now. He settled in his decision. He not bitter.
Be intentional.
He was like, I wasn't shit. So hey. Look, my daddy be like, I wasn't shit my whole life. So look, I ain't holding nobody. Like, that's how my daddy is. He's like, I did what I did, and so here we are.
If you have the disposition that doesn't carry regret, even if you make bad decisions or are not completely happy with where you came out at, it's different. But if you're one of those people that you're always stuck on the past and what decision, like, you are not set up for regret. If you're always saying, oh man, I should have did this, you got to make better choices, because you're going different. You're that type of person. Why wait until you're 50, 60 to be like, man, I should have done something different? And then you can't go back. Like,
you can't. That's what he be like, I was trash, so I'll take what I can get.
Yeah,
he be like, my kids don't call me regularly. Y'all be checking in on me. That's fine. I gotta call y'all. That's the life I've set up for myself, And he be chilling in it. Like, and that's one thing I respect about him. He don't be like, why y'all don't call me? Y'all don't come visit me. I don't see my grandkids. Like, he not gaslighting us. He be like, yeah, I already kind of know what's up. If I don't call y'all, I ain't gonna hear from y'all. So he just make sure he call us.
And I know a lot of y'all do probably have not watched Game of Thrones and kind of do
Right.
not know what we're talking about when we're talking about, like, y'all heard the Kevin Samuels The Wall, but y'all don't know like all these other things we're talking about. So I did want to also give the analogy of the four seasons. That's probably a lot more common framework for it, but I'm gonna let somebody else explain it really quickly for a little while. But spring is your youth, summer is your adult development, fall is like that mid to late 30s into your 40s, 50, but then you got the winter of life, your senior years. But I'm gonna let somebody else who I also watch talk about that for a quick second.
And then we all backed out, walked backwards. That's a part of the traditional burial, is when you walk backwards away from the final resting place of a loved one. In the very beginning, when we talk about Hajine, or when life began, one of the first things that the holy people wanted us to be completely aware of, as far as what we learned from the songs and prayers, is the order of the seasons of the year, because it is also a map as to our existence in this, the third world. So they began with the direction east, which is Dan, or the springtime of the year, when new life comes from the earth, the seeds sprout, and the birds lay their eggs, and the insects lay their eggs, and the young start to develop until finally they come into life. And the next season of the year is the Dan is first, and then Sh is second. Sh is the summertime. And that's the time for growth and development, the adolescent years, where the Dan is the infancy or new birth, and then the summertime is the adolescent years of learning and growing. And then we have the Ake, which is the adult years, where you have accumulated a lot of learning and you're living your life, and it is the middle age years. And then finally you come into Chai, which is winter time, where your hair turns white with the snow. And it is during that time that you begin to understand the meaning and the life that you have lived. And in the songs and prayers and that, there is always the reminder of the that's the correct order that it is said and sung in the songs. But when you hear the Net talk about it in everyday settings and outside of the ceremony, they say it.
I don't need all that, Walter. Thank you, Walter. But he gave the breakdown of the spring, the summer, the fall, and the winter as the phases of life. The youth in the spring, everything's budding, growing. The summer, when everything's flourishing, that's when you're coming into yourself. The fall, things are starting going over that wall. They used to call it going over the heel. They used to call that 40 going over the heel. And then there was, your winter, where you are going into your senior years. Things are starting to go gray with the snow, white turning white.
He's about the Navajo. No, I can't.
So when you find your purpose and transform your life, everything you've done becomes coherent. You see the value in every experience. I really like that, Don. That's very poignant. And Enya said, this is what I was speaking about a while back. Learning different cultures to view their experiences and maybe adopt some of them. Absolutely, Enya. Y'all say growth and development. He gang banging, but his bandana is red. False flag.
Yeah, my mom uses though that as well. She was teaching the kids about the seasons and the phases of life, using the four seasons. So.
Bree, can you repeat those phases for us? Those phrases for us,
No,
please.
I'm not
No,
of the
phases.
Navajo tribe. So. Yeah, my family don't come from the Navajo tribe. I don't know that.
Y'all crazy. But Bree has been spending a lot of time in Idaho recently. Not Navajo, but Idaho. Different hoe altogether.
We like the hoes, you know. So I just, you know. But no, I think that's great. I want to see people be more content in each phase of life. So you don't have to look back. Like I always say, old man full of regrets, like you say on Inception. A lot of people end up in limbo. Okay. Y'all gotta come out. You gotta come out of limbo. You have to be an active participant in your life in each phase to be able to look back on it fondly. You can't just tap out, quiet, quit, go into delusion, art, you know, Halle Berry. You can't go into delusion. Resist the urge to go into delusion. Don't want division. Okay? Don't do it. Don't do it. You try to avoid that. Limbo, Idaho.
Hey, real quick,
You
I'm gonna
know?
play another video before we break down because I want to like what you said about finding joy and contentment at every phase of your life. I want to go into that, but I want to play this last video to lead into that. Give me one quick second. It's about 4 or 5 minutes. I'll probably stop him too.
A number of years ago, I spent a week with my family in Costa Rica. There's a lot to do in that beautiful country, and both of my kids, as early teenagers, thoroughly enjoyed it. One afternoon, we went on a boat ride to watch dolphins and enjoy dinner out on the ocean. As part of the tour, at one scenic stop, the boat anchored, and the captain invited everyone to get off for snorkeling and or swimming if they desired. In addition to snorkeling, the captain invited us, anyone who wanted, to jump off the top deck of the catamaran into the ocean if we wanted. As you might imagine, the teenage boys and the young adults were the first to attempt the high dive into the water below. Some needed a little peer pressure, but most of the young men were more than happy to jump and impress the girl that they brought with them. While anchored, I began to look around at the other participants on the tour and began looking a little closer for the first time. I began to notice the wide range of ages that were represented on the boat tour. There are many elderly people wearing regular clothes, enjoying the scenery, but clearly with no intention to get off to swim or snorkel, much less jump 25 feet off the top of the boat. There are also a bunch of young children on board. Each of them got off for snorkeling and swimming, but again, not a single one of them dared to make the jump. While I was looking around at the different ages and the life stages represented, Kim turned to me and asked if I was going to jump. Yes, I said, I'm going to jump while I still can. I'm in my mid-40s, I'm healthy, I'm in good shape, I can run, snorkel, and swim. There'll probably come a day when I'm unable to do any of those, but that's not today. Today I can jump, and so I will. Besides, my son's a teenager, and he had every intention of jumping off the boat. I wanted to be there, I wanted to jump alongside him while I still could. Because this might not always be the case. There are moments in life that are difficult to communicate adequately with words. The circumstances are just right, the emotions are in perfect alignment, and all the thoughts running through the back of your mind are impossible to describe to another person. And sometimes in those moments, when everything is just right, a thought overwhelms you. For me, that day, the sight of young adults jumping off a boat into the ocean, while those younger and those older watched from the sideline, brought new resolve into my life. I want to jump while I still can, because there will come a day when I can't, and I don't want to regret missing my opportunity to do it while I could. On that warm evening in Costa Rica, that meant jumping into the ocean and treading water, waiting for my son to follow. But I found the principle of jump while you can extends far beyond that one moment. You see, not long after that boat ride, I was talking to a friend at a restaurant about raising daughters. His daughters are a bit older than mine, so I like to seek his wisdom and input from time to time. He happened to make a comment to me about how fast time passes. They grow up really fast, Joshua, and you don't always realize it's happening.
Yeah.
He continued, I'll never forget the time I reached down to grab my daughter's hand on a walk, and she pulled it back for the first time and said to me, I think I'm old enough to walk alone.
Yep.
Without even realizing it, my little girl had become a young woman. That evening, while on a walk with my daughter, I made a special point to hold her hand and enjoy the moment. Jump while you can, Joshua, I thought to myself, because there's probably coming a day very soon when I won't be able to. I began to apply this mantra to the work that I do. As many of you know, I wrote a book last year.
Yeah, he's ready to start selling stuff real quick. Let me go ahead
Yeah.
and pause there before he starts
Oh,
selling
that
himself.
was sweet.
Yeah, so I really wanted, before we talk about finding joy and contentment at every phase, I really wanted to point out that we need to do the things that we can while we can, because that time does proceed. Time keeps moving regardless. Things are going to change. The relationships are going to change. All the dynamics within and outside of yourself are going to change. So if there's something that you're
Time is
putting off,
moving.
if there's something that you're putting off, man, go ahead and get into it, because, man, eventually the opportunity may leave. You
That
may not
potential
have it.
just be as you go
Yeah.
through each
Water
phase,
through your
it
hands. Water
going
through your
down,
hands.
down. So
He tried to smoothly go into he
it was
did.
smooth. It was
He
smooth.
transitioned so smooth. First time I heard, I'm like, wait a minute, I'm listening to an ad. Like, oh, I got caught. I was like, I listened to the whole thing because I was waiting for the rest of the story.
He
He's
taking that
smooth.
jump. But now that's, I
Yeah.
mean, I still hold my toddler. I
Yeah.
probably won't be able to hold her after this year, and I'm sad about it.
Yeah, that stuff changes quick. I remember my nephew when he got that age. All of a sudden he was like my best friend, and all of a sudden he was like, I don't know this little ninja. Like, this little dude is a little a-hole.
They
He a little
grow up
jerk.
so fast.
So fast. And it was 1 year. From the summer of age 10 to summer of age 11, he was a different guy. And I had to learn the new guy. I had to learn this new guy. And I love this guy. But they're two different guys.
And I think that's, for me, that's like the best marker of time for me. Myself, I feel pretty the same most of the time, all through my life. But my kids definitely, like kids in general, like kids you knew and you could see them again, you'd be like, dang, you late. Like one of my nieces just turned, or cousin, my husband's cousin. So my cousin through marriage, she just turned 18. And like when I first met my husband, she was like 8, or she probably was younger than that. She was younger than that. I don't even know. Like, I don't even know how old she was now. Like, she's 18. I'm just like, she was like younger than my middle child when I met her. It's really crazy. But that I think kids are one of the biggest markers. Like anybody under 18, because after 18, we kind of stay generally like the same, scale or size. You change a little bit, but not a lot. But them kids, like you see them, 5 years go by, you be like, dang, you taller. So I think kids are definitely like one of the best ways to mark time.
They really are. It's sad. I just want to hit a couple of these comments.
Yeah.
Now, Yella, you cannot pick up your son until his feet start dragging.
Yeah, no. I'm sure he wouldn't like that.
When he turned 20, I'll be 50. We're gonna be out here.
Are
buy
y'all?
Dawn's book. I know she's from the picture. He switched to that picture. But yo,
Yeah.
Inya, this is the one that got me the most. I'm hesitant
Now,
to
you
potty
need
train my
potty
toddler
train
because then
him.
I know he's
Please
growing
potty
up.
train him. Please potty train him.
Do not I know now, Inya, I know you were joking.
She joking
somewhat because it's a toddler,
right?
But a lot of people do throughout the life cycle of a child delay their development to not let go of in certain realms. Do not, whether it's independence. They don't want their child experience independence in some ways. Oh my God. And then they don't know what to do when they have to make their own decisions.
Yeah.
We have to be careful to not delay somebody's development.
Infantilize them.
Right. And again, I know you're just joking. It's a toddler, so there's a lot of time to get that right. They're going to learn how to potty. That's not a concern. But I know people that really stop true development, like even socialization, to prevent them like from letting go, like to keep them close.
He said his son transitioning.
Lightweight transition. He told me the other day. Son, no, yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh. They don't like watching the same things. They don't like doing the same things. Oh my God.
Or as that language starts picking up, I think for me, the biggest between like 2 and 5 is the language development. You be like, girl, how you articulate that so well? Like, I'm starting to feel like I'm talking to a regular person. Like, oh, that's a big one.
That was my nephew's problem too, because he spent all his time around older people. We didn't have any other young kids in the family. So his conversation was always different. So he's like, even now, he's like, me and my friends, I hang with them, but it's like having a conversation. I can't have the same type of conversation because it's like nobody's where I'm at. We don't talk about the same thing. All the dudes want to talk about girls. I'm like, what about this finance stuff? It's a trip. Or politics.
Hearing a child verbalize, or somebody who you saw as a child. I mean, even when my 4-year-old articulates her emotions, I'd be like, this too much.
It's gotta
be too much.
It's not beautiful. You don't be like touch. Don't be like.
It's jarring. Just to hear her articulate it. I mean, I model it to her, but to hear her say it back, I would just be like, she'd be like, I can't help it right now. I feel this way and I can't really control it. So I just have to let it out. I'm like, who are you? Why are you talking full sentences and like articulating your emotions? It's too much. It's too much.
For me, man, that was some of the best. Because I couldn't handle the phase where they couldn't talk. When my nephew couldn't talk and express what he was going through, that was like the worst time for me. But once he started using words, oh man.
I mean, it's great, but it's also like or her negotiating things.
I love it. I loved it.
I'm like, you're negotiating. Like, this is crazy. And she's doing it earlier than my other kids because she was raised fully under respectful parenting. So I'm also being smacked in the face because I'm not expecting her to be able to do this as soon. So it's also worse now because I'm like, dang, we doing this at 4?
Yeah.
Like, I'm expecting this like 2 years from now. So it's like even worse, but I be getting emotional. She got to go to school next year and I'm going to cry.
Oh, that was hard. Oh my God, that was so hard. Anyway, even clothes. He wear the ripped jeans with zippers and buttons and shirts that cost way too much. Yeah.
They like them expensive shirts, don't they?
Man, don't they? They only like expensive stuff. I don't know.
They don't look expensive. They don't look expensive. Yeah.
All right, but I know we went back to the kids, but I do want to touch upon an age group that we probably don't have the ability to truly talk about, but we want to talk about the free folk and the White Walkers. Let's talk about them just a little bit before we transition. The free folk, the people who are near seniors, you know, they've crossed the wall. They're Halle Berry, you know, they're 50. Maybe they still fly.
She's free folk.
Maybe they still fly. Maybe they not. You know, maybe they're like, you know nothing, Jon Snow. You know,
because she was cute. She was cute. Yeah.
Still out here quite effective in everything they're doing. But you're on the other side of the wall. People aren't even aware of your existence anymore a lot of times. But how are we as like people who are south of the wall? How do we treat them? I mean, do we forget that they're there? Like,
I think on the show, what was there like on the show? I think they felt like the free folk were barbarians or savages. If we look back at Roman empires, like they're savages. They just out here. I mean, what makes a person a savage? You know, I guess.
They care about. They just do whatever they want, and that's a lot of.
I mean, and they live a more simplistic way as well because it's like about survival, and it's just like we get food,
downsizing.
It's a village. It's like small. They move. They're nomadic, so they live a life of functionality a lot. The free folks, their lives are really crafted by their environment more so than they just had a freedom to craft their reality however they want. The reality and the elements craft their life more so than anything else. And I think that's true.
Artificial hierarchies.
Yeah, like once you get older, I feel like that's partially true. Like you don't have the you know, the sexual appeal to craft to manipulate people. You don't have, you know, if you're starting to get health issues or disabled, that's going to limit your potential or your ability. So I think that's true for when you get past you start getting the 50s and stuff. If you didn't take care of yourself, that health stuff going to start coming up. That's going to limit you, your, you know, ability. How much can you work? That hard labor may not be as possible for you. So I think that's real. Like you get into certain life phases, your environment and the elements craft your reality start to more than your I think that's why they are mean, or they're a little bit more like less optimistic, or like less, you know how like old people, they don't give in to delusion
Yeah,
as
yeah.
much,
Because
because
they seen
life
too much.
is
It's
life
harder.
is
Like,
out
yeah,
here dropping elbows on them.
yeah.
So they be looking at 20-year-olds like, y'all so delusional. Like, y'all just really think y'all could change the world and you could
Mm-hmm.
craft the world. And they just be like, ha ha,
We've
life gonna
seen
whoop
real
your
life.
ass. Right. When you when you keep
We've
on
seen
this.
real life.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
because we're
yeah.
taking care of the White Walkers. So yeah,
I
wait
don't
till
even
y'all got
think
to
the
deal
White
with them.
Walkers were really fucking with them though.
No, I mean, but they lived with
Unless
them.
you strayed
And
off. Yeah.
they live with them, and a lot of times it's the people that are just above the wall who are taking care of their parents. They're taking care of
Yeah.
the geriatrics, and it's another. They know true burden. You know, like,
Yeah.
okay, you thought it was cute with the kids. Wait until it's your parent that you're changing the diaper of.
Not the
You know
White
what I'm
Walkers.
saying?
I mean, because really because they were one of the people wasn't it somebody on the other side of the wall who was giving their kids to the White Walkers?
Matter of fact, yeah, there was
Okay, so
that
yeah,
one
they
guy.
basically
Yeah,
keeping the White Walker economy alive. Because anybody
yeah,
who basically was turned into a White Walker was a free folk.
yeah.
And if they had them knights that was being turned as a human baby, that was from them. So they actually they had a very symbiotic relationship.
Yeah, I mean that's what happens. When you're that far up, the young people don't come to visit. They don't come to
Except
visit.
Jon Snow.
Grandkids don't come to. Yeah, Jon Snow. A couple of the grandkids come to visit, but it's typically the trouble ones, and they need something. You know, they need something.
Why that's so bad?
But
Because
it's the
I
way it
feel like
is.
Jon Snow and Bran, that's like the only people who was out there like that.
The trouble kids. If you're functioning, you're going up the hierarchy. You're playing
Yeah.
the whole game.
Sansa and yeah. I mean, Arya found her little road mission inside the walls.
Yep.
She went the spiritual path. She just like she that kid that go do ayahuasca and shit and go on mission trips, just be doing wild stuff. But that is true. That's kind of sad.
Yeah.
But he was like, wow, they have a lot of wisdom.
Yeah, but that's what
Yeah,
you'll
Jon
find out.
Snow was like, they have a lot of wisdom.
There's a lot of wisdom and like ancient magic. You know, I mean, there was
Yeah.
like things that we just don't understand. Like, how did y'all even survive without the things that we rely upon?
Yeah.
I mean, so there's so much, the dragon glass, but I mean, that's if you talk to the elders, the things that they endured. I mean, they would laugh at us for the conditions that we find troubling. They do, and it's true. We're so less resilient because of all the means that we have to live off of, as opposed to the scarcity that they've had to struggle through. I mean, so there's a bit of that too. And as far as the White Walkers, age is coming. It's going to consume us all. And the closer you are to their domain, the more deadly they seem to become.
The night is dark and full of terrors.
Full of it, but they're going to assimilate all of us. At some point, if you don't get taken out somewhere else, if you make it north, you're going to become a White Walker.
Oh,
you live long
yeah,
enough.
they all did eventually become the White Walkers.
If you live long
Everybody,
enough,
the free folks, because he turned that whole village into basically White Walkers in the end. But then he came back and tore down the wall. Well, he took Daenerys. So what with that whole dynamic? Because Daenerys got in her ego, flew out there with her dragons, thought she was gonna torch the old, the boomers, and and she had another thing coming for her, and now they took out one of her dragons, and he used that to come back and tear the wall down.
I guess that would be if we were having an intergenerational war,
right?
Because if you do go for the old folks, like Big Rig Slaps, like they a little mean. They a little mean.
Yeah.
Once you get up there, they're a little mean, and people forget how crafty they are because of how little they've had to survive off of in their time. They grew up in a just different time, so they're more resourceful. So we get we got all our technology.
So there's like technology. Her with her dragons.
We got our technology. We got our apps, and we got all these services. Oh, it's beautiful. And then all of a sudden, they'll just turn the Wi-Fi off.
Right.
Your signal just drops out of the sky.
And it was so like, because it was like, who knew that the Night King had that skill?
Yeah.
There's like a skill that has no utility anywhere. And maybe back in the day, people were just throwing spears. I don't know. Like, how did he have this talent? Why does he have this talent?
But that's what would happen to us. We be trying to spend all this time trying to fix something or do something and think we flexing and everything's going wrong. And you know what the old person would do? They go and just unplug it.
Yeah.
And that's basically what he just turned the power off.
Oh
He's
my
like,
God. Yeah, we had that conversation. I was like, my husband was like, something going on my phone. He's trying to troubleshoot. He's going through. I'm like, did you turn it off and turn it back on?
Yeah.
Well, that's not gonna work because it's not that. It worked.
But you know what? In this analogy we've been playing around with, another thing that's cute is old people. If you spend enough time around old people, you do turn into an old person. Like you get grumpy. You start talking like them. You start needing naps. Even if you ain't old. Even if you put your kids around the grandparents.
Yeah, they be old too. That's
They'll
like this
start
man on
walking
TikTok.
funny.
He was like, that moment you know he was old because he was sitting in the park bench and then a baby lady with a stroller put a coat on that baby. Oh, I'm getting old. It's like, it's true though. You do get old. I mean, to me, it's just living like, because you know we had the family land and my mom's there, my brothers, and seeing my mom, like, because you know my mom raised us in the city, you know, so she grew up in the country, she was raised in the country, but we lived in the city our whole life. So when she got back to the country, living with her in the country has been like one of them moments. You know, you fly in with your dragons and she throwing spears and you like, how do you know this?
Yep.
Why do you have this random skill? And why is it so great? Like, how is it
Super
like
effective.
what? Because you
Super
know, when he
effective.
threw that spear in Game of Thrones, the form was immaculate.
Yeah.
Immaculate. I was like,
that's all he
wow.
did. Like that's what he been doing the entire time. Just hunting dragons.
But he had never needed to use that ability until Daenerys pulled up. So to me, I think that is true because I've definitely had those moments. You know, you look down, you're like, oh, these country folks, just use technology. Just call this company, just call these people to come fix it. And they come out with a MacGyver rigs for stuff. And it's just like, wow, like that is amazing.
That's how you know Yella spends time around older people. There's somebody older in Yella's life because he's a MacGyver. I don't know how he does some of the weird stuff he does.
I know
with
Yellow's stream
technology.
set up his duct tape together.
Yeah.
In paper clips.
Because he was StreamYard, he was StreamYard in the video game, and I'm like, but he doesn't have a capture card. I know y'all keep talking about capture cards.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how? Sway?
How he get it and not skip? Because when I try, it dropped frames.
But when it's a regular stream,
and
it's
then one
dropping
time
frames.
he was co-streaming, Kai-stream, and he don't have restream.
Exactly.
Like,
exactly. I don't know what Yella be doing. I be wanting to ask him, but I'm like, no, I don't want to mess up the magic because this is magic. I don't know how it works, and I don't want to. I don't want to know.
He's streaming movies 24 hours. He at work.
Yes.
How?
Yes. Moms and
I
pops
don't
both
know.
70 plus. Yeah,
He
that's
is old. Yeah, that's some old people stuff.
yeah, that's old people wisdom, man.
We paying. Meanwhile, I'm dummy over here paying $20 a month to be able to stream on multiple platforms, and he done Jimmy rig how to stream somebody else stream on his channel. So, I mean, they do have skills. That's one thing I could definitely, you know, I'm gonna pay somebody. I ain't got time. It takes time to rig stuff, though. We can say that that takes time and problem troubleshooting. And so for me, I'm just gonna pay somebody.
Yeah.
So I could be more like that. I think I could do more like Jimmy rigging than calling people.
I could try harder, but I know I'm not. I ain't gonna lie to myself. I'm not art. Like, I'm gonna fix all of this. No, I'm not.
I from living with my mom, I picked up a little bit more resolve to try different things. But ultimately, I'm not finna like take nothing apart. But you know, if the sink clog a little bit, I'll try, you know, little hacks, you know, try this and that a little bit. But yeah, I'm still calling people. I'm not gonna put more pressure on myself than necessary.
Yeah. Last one before we get up out of here, because I got a sidebar question that I'm going to ask you. But before we get up out of here on the Game of Thrones ageism, What about the elders, the grand elders, the White Walkers themselves? Why do we not visit them enough? That's probably why they're so angry.
Because we don't know what do they, we still don't know what the White Walkers wanted.
They just wanted us to visit and call. They just wanted us to visit and call. That's all they wanted.
They just can't pull up and cause all that mayhem for nothing. What did he want?
Nobody visited or called.
He didn't want nothing.
Old people don't ever want anything, but they just want you to visit and call. They want to know that they've been remembered. The North is always talking about we remember.
I guess that makes. That's why I guess it makes sense because he literally didn't want it, and it still bothers me to this day. To this day, I'm still upset. Like you out here transforming people, forming the army just to pull up, and we here, we exist. Like it's like if the dragons are technology, they just came to show that they exist. Like technology is a direct threat to old people, and so they like we still exist. The old ways are here.
Yeah.
And we are a threat. I don't know what.
And then, of course, like true to real life, they do get a hold of technology. And of course, it's the blue. It's Facebook. So they get Facebook.
They did. And then they use the technology and it's created mayhem.
Exactly. That's what tears down the wall.
You know, they do. So, I mean, I guess.
Wow. That's what tore down the wall between the elders and the young people.
They learned the technology. Yeah, he got technology. He got his own little technology. He got him a little flip phone, you know, one of the minutes phones. He was able to come over now and talk to him.
That old refurbished flip phone.
Yeah, he got an old refurbished. He got a refurbished flip phone and said, then people actually, and it was crazy to me in the show because a lot of people didn't even actually believe they exist. I don't think, you know, I guess that's part of being old. Like you're invisible.
Yeah.
You're a myth.
Yeah. Especially at that age. Like once everything's all white. How many of us have somebody that old in our lives that we're constantly in contact with?
Is that why they get old and like forget stuff?
Probably because we forget them.
You know, they say memories, like, you know, like there's this belief that if people don't worship guys, they go away.
Yeah.
So it's like something to that. Are they an amalgamation of memories?
They might be.
Like, what if if you looked at life like that? If you're an amalgamation of memories, if you fall off creating memories after 20, or when you basically from the time your kids live, you a non-factor, you're gonna be nothing.
I think that goes back to what Mr. He said. Like if you're the same person in your 20s as you are in your 40s, the same person in your 40s as you were in your 20s, like you haven't developed any memories like to grow yourself with. I think memories and experiences are what grows us as a person. It grows our mind. Like that's what fills us up is the memories and experiences. So if you're not making memories, I don't know what kind of person would you be?
Memories. I mean, I think it's a lot of people who aren't making memories. They just going through the motions.
But which is why time zips by.
Yeah.
Like if you're doing the same thing every single day, if you try to look back on your year, you won't be able to pick out any points. Like you need the milestones to differentiate time. Like it helps you delineate time, because anything that you're doing that's the same, it's hard for your mind to remember it because it's routine. It's going to fall into it's going to get filed away. It's just useless data. So a lot of your days just get blended in. Your brain does like, oh, that's like last one. That's like the last one. That's like the last.
Yeah, you need to be constantly creating memories.
Which is why if you say like, what did you eat on Tuesday? It'll be like, shoot, I don't know, because you eat a lot of the same stuff. If you ate
unless you went out, right?
Exactly, then you remember it. Like, oh, Tuesday, that's when we went over oh man, that's when they got that food poisoning. But some memory, positive or negative, we need that.
That's true. I think that's true with relationships. Relationships stall out.
Yeah.
It's too mundane. Too mundane. And you hear people talk about their spouse, and that's always the thing. You hear them, you talk about how we used to do this when we was young. I'm like, that's red flag.
Yeah, buddy.
Red flag.
Whew. No, you don't want to fall into that. You gotta keep it fresh. And I think you can recycle. You can revisit things that you used to do. Like once the energy, like like once you have it, once the like coffee to get that nose scent, like coffee to refresh.
Yeah.
Like once it's fresh again, like you can revisit something, like certain
Yeah.
types of things. Let's not have chicken again for at least a month after we've had some other things come through the menu.
That's true.
But yeah, last thing I wanted to ask, and it's a sidebar question. I wish I had gone to the music. I probably would have played this since we had Game of Thrones in the background. But
Your mic. Okay.
I started the music. It always cuts out when I start the music.
Okay, there you go. You back.
My bad. Like the history and stuff. My question for you, Bree. People seem to lose the inner child as they layer more and more external values and thoughts on themselves.
Yeah.
They reach the crises that we talked about as the different layers of values and thoughts kind of override their ability to process it all, auto program. There's not enough RAM, like computer terms. Or they reach like an emotional problem. I call that like the blue screen of death. We're talking about tech. Identity crisis is like a reformatting. But as you age, you start deleting or archiving old programs. You just start eliminating. How do you free the inner child in yourself again? Like I know you are somebody that like shuns or sheds identity. But for the normal person who like isn't as free as us as far as identity, how do you free that inner child from all those layers of expectations and values and things that other people put on you?
Well, I think it's like you're creative. I think creativity is the best way to tap into it personally. But I think that the child is just your base model. You know what I'm saying? You come off the lot. You know how you come off the lot. So you have to maintain it. I think people get too, maybe not identity. I mean, I think identities are useful. But on the individual level, they're not. I mean, that's what I think. I don't think identities are useful on the individual level. So you're talking about you and yourself and how you feel and the base level you, the you that you came in as and you gonna leave with. You can't become a role. So you have to, that's how you maintain your inner child, if you want to say. And the inner child to me is just like your base level self. So you can't become a role. You can't become mom. You can't become Mrs. whatever. You can't become your job. Like, you can't become those things. And I know, like, that's why I was like people who say, when I was saying, like, vegan isn't a personality. Working out isn't a personality. Like, health stuff is not a personality. Like, that's, for me, that's the best way. Like, you can't become a role, and you can't become a hobby, and you can't become, like, so I don't know if that's, it's complicated because everybody different.
Yeah.
But I find creativity is the most, like, aligned with it, because creative force to me always brings you back to your base self.
I agree with that. I just know I see in people, in a lot of not just in the online space, in real life, they get weighed down, like in all of the expectations and the values that they've adopted that aren't even their own. I know Nova asked that question in your chat. I'm not even sure which thoughts or ideas are even my own. We take in so many ideas without even challenging them.
Right.
And I think a lot of people get so weighed down and confused because they've adopted conflicting values. So that's why we're hear people talk and they're like, that doesn't make any sense. It's because they're running two different scripts.
Yeah, they
like
just
I want to be independent, but then I want to be with somebody. Well, you want to be selfish and selfless. It's kind of hard to do those at the exact same time. You're gonna bump heads. So a lot of times people have all these ideas, they haven't evaluated, they haven't learned themselves, the self-work, the self-development. That's why it's so important. You have to learn who you are and what you truly want. Because I think the inner child will help a lot of these people because they've lost their curiosity.
Yeah.
They've lost their sense of wonder, the sense of fun,
exploration,
companionship, like all of those things is what's missing a lot in all of relationships. because we do that to each other. You're not a person, because if two people ran like as kids, like, you know, like the whole gender war, if a boy and a girl were on the playground at 5 or 6,
right,
they wouldn't have all these notions that keep them from talking and playing games and power dynamics. They would just, hey, do you want to play? Do you want me to push you on the swing? Why can't we have the same childlike? How can we?
People can't even interact with each other if they the opposite sex without making it all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You on the game, I'm on the game. You won't play? That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, but people, you can't do, like, you can't.
Yes.
And that's why I say I think the creative energy, and like I'm just a curious person. I think that curiosity is healthy. I don't think a lot of people are curious. And I just know that based off like I was talking about before, I think on one of my streams, like I'd be thinking something wrong with me because I can't just sit and just not have questions. Like, how do people just sit and just don't be having questions? Like, and some people think that's annoying, but I'm just like, girl, I can't, like, why? Like, I've just always kept that why, or why not? Why can't I? Why? Like, I just have that. And I think that at the core of you is help. I think it's good. Like, you don't know everything. Yeah. So why would you not be like, why?
I think that's important. I think that why even challenge, if we brought that childhood why even to the things that we say and do and believe, I think we will be better people. Like, why do I feel like I need to do this? Why do I feel like I need to carry this on even though I'm unhappy? Like, some things will have a valid answer, like, well, because I need a roof over my head, so I need to do this job. But maybe why I would say, well, why don't I look for something else? Like, maybe if you honor the inner child in yourself, you might move a little more compassionate towards yourself.
Yeah, like, why do I feel like I need to do all this stuff? Like, why do I feel like I'm supposed to be fucking Martha Stewart?
Yeah, you gotta be Martha Stewart.
Like, why do I feel away if I decide I don't want to do something that I told myself I got to do in the first place? Why do I feel away about it? Why did I get weird vibes from this person? Why are you saying we have to do this? Why should I buy these plane tickets from this place when we gonna be here? Why? I mean, people, my husband be so tired of me. I always got a why. And it's really not like me, like, it's hard for me because I didn't grow up in that household where saying why is a challenge to your authority. But my husband did to some degree. So when I say, if I do that to him, he be like, cause I said, like, calm down.
Why?
Calm down.
Why?
He's like, why are you asking me why? Cause I just want to know why, you know? So I think because even my mother-in-law gets upset when my oldest be like, why?
Yeah, people
because
do get more about that.
Because I said now. And it's like, you could have just said why. Like, you could have said why, unless you don't actually have a reason for why, and you don't like her asking you why because you don't actually have a reason. And now you feel challenged by her asking you why, you know, but now you got to get all this, you know, attitude. So
I'm about to ban Yeller from the chat. If you don't eat scalloped potatoes, I don't know if I can work with you on that GMO later. I don't know. Scalloped potatoes are delicious.
Why is she trying to get us to eat food? Like, why do you need me to eat this so bad? See, that's me. Why do you want me to eat this thing you enjoy so bad? I'm not vegetarian or vegan, so I'd rather just eat fried chicken.
Right. I haven't had fried chicken in a little minute. I miss it. I need some.
I don't fry, like, you know, but I'd rather make some little homemade chicken nuggets. You know what I'm saying? I chop up some chicken and fry it up real quick. Why do I have to eat these mushrooms when I eat meat? I eat mushrooms on my spaghetti and stuff. I saute them. I eat mushrooms, spinach, and onions with some eggs. Like, that's my jam, you know? I eat mushrooms.
Can you repeat that one more time?
Like, with eggs, I eat spinach, like saute, like onions, mushrooms, spinach.
Sauteed onions, mushrooms, spinach, and eggs?
Yeah.
Like on scrambled eggs?
Like a scramble. Yeah.
I can't yuck your yum. I'm going to just let it go.
I have low iron, so I always try to integrate spinach, lentils, high iron foods into most meals. So that was like, it slaps, okay? It slaps. Yeah, I don't eat sour
Sour
cream.
cream? Like, do you have like?
Was you just out of sauce one day and that's all you had, and you was like, this actually slaps? I don't eat sour cream. I don't eat white sauce. So
I can't see that. I gotta.
Why do vegans, like, going back to the vegan thing I said? Why do vegans who ain't really ride or die vegans want everybody else to be vegans?
It's that zealotry.
Because I feel like you're not a ride or die vegan if you wear leather. Like, you know, it's some vegans out here who like, we ain't hurting the animals, so we ain't wearing leather. We not buying clothes. We not using no animal byproduct. I'm cool with them vegans. Like, you really out here trying to say the animals is not my thing, but hey. But it's a lot of people who just like, it's, you know, I'm vegan because it's better for my health. It's like,
there's a performance. There's a performance vegan, and then there's a practicing vegan. Yeah, I practice. It's like Christianity.
Veganism. It's the veganism vegans, and then it's
there's the performance. There's the one that are acting. They don't know that. They believe they're trying, but they're just zealous. They heard something, they went with it, they bought into it, and it's the new thing, and they'll be on to something else in a year or two.
Yeah, because I do think moderation is like, I think sometimes people really skew the results, and I'm pro people doing what works for them, because a lot of people didn't learn moderation or any middle ground. It's just like you went from all this to all that, and so of course you'll get good results, and that's fine if you feel like the results are good and you want to keep doing that. But it's like some people, like for me, you know, I'm just like, have people consider that there probably is something else that's not that also could work very well, you know, well. Yeah. And I think some people, like, it's like a conversion thing. Like, once you see the light in a religion, you want everybody to be that religion.
Yep.
And you're not able to look at that person and see if what they're doing is even working for them. It's just like no consideration that what they found actually could be working for them. Yeah. You know, it's not what you found. But you don't care. You want everybody to be what you are. Yeah,
it's a mentality. And yeah, I'm gonna use you as an example. It's not a true example, so don't get offended. Like, as far as I know, Enya, like she said, she leans on hope because hope keeps her going. Some people, they need that zealousness. That's the only thing keeping them over whatever whatever they're leaning into veganism for to come out of. If they're not that hype about it, they'll fall back. They want it,
because like, you like go sometime from one extreme to the other, and so like you have to keep that to maintain a level of extremism.
Right,
takes a level of zealotry to some degree, or you have to be bred into it.
Some people cannot find a balance between two places. Like between two zones, I can't find a balance. Like I know people, they say if I have one drink, I have 100. Like I just can't. They have no regulation method. So some people to be full 100 nonstop into something mentally, even if they're not practicing it properly. But they got to be mentally 100% like because if they're not, they're like forget it.
This style. That makes sense, because like for me, you know, it's just the interesting thing. But that hive mind, I do want to explore that. We kind of were talking about that because I'm just like, it feels more like a hive mind thing. To some degree, what people find are the best ways to live always coincide with, you know, everything else, you know, like I don't know.
That was a nice shot. That's a serious laugh, meaning laughing without smiling. No, I just know hope for you is something that you cling to, like, but that keeps you in a state, a productive state.
Right.
Everybody, like Bree said earlier, everybody's got that thing. And for some people, everything's not a tangible thing. Some people cling to something tangible. Some people cling to things that are intangible. So everybody has like virtues and vices on both sides of the spectrum that we have to hold on to, a good and a bad. So, I mean, hope is your anchor.
I can't, but you know, that's the one thing. Like when you kind of in the middle, I don't really even have. I can't really even say what the virtue would be. I just be existing. I can't say the virtue I hold. I know I have virtues. I know I have a moral compass, but it feels vague. Like it's not like a.
You feel it. it's the things that you bug up against certain things. Like that's what if you actually want to define it, that'd probably be one.
But I don't.
You don't like people lying to themselves. I don't know. So I would say truth is
like
probably
liars.
one of yours. Yeah, you don't. Yeah, you have a sense of truth. That's a virtue that you hold on to because. So how it exhibits, like I'll say stuff bluntly and truthfully to make sure I'm not ever the liar that I dislike. So you'll just say like stuff that people are gonna be bothered by. I think you get a little bit of a kick out of it.
It's funny to me because people be so triggered by stuff they shouldn't even be triggered by. It's weird.
My God. Your vulture is emotional intelligent. Oh my God.
Well, I am actually emotionally intelligent. I actually have emotional wisdom, which is the step above emotional intelligence.
And she has emotional arrogance, which is a step above
emotional wisdom. I have emotional wisdom, so I actually have emotional.
You made up a whole new term. I love.
No, emotional wisdom is actually a legitimate term. It's legitimate. Right. Look it up. It's actually a step above emotional intelligence.
Nah,
it exists.
I mean, it's in use, but it's not a real term.
Sure, buddy.
Right. Which means we got emotional ignorance.
Emotionally unintelligent is the same as emotionally. If there's an emotional intelligence, then there's emotional unintelligence, right?
Jesus. Emotional lack of comprehension. So y'all oh God, I don't want to go into a whole word thing.
Don't be mad because I said a term you ain't heard.
It's not
It's a real term.
It's not that brief. I'm gonna tell you. Let me articulate it. I'm gonna tell you what's bothering me. Because there's a word deficit. There's a word deficit for me. And we all know it. And then we're just gonna keep using more words. Just keep throwing more words
I'm not gonna make myself small for y'all limited vocabulary.
Oh my God.
Now, if you want me to restate it in a way you can understand it, I'm always willing to do that. But I'm not gonna pretend I don't know words I know. I'm not gonna pretend. Look, I'm not gonna pretend I don't know terms I know because you might not know them. That would be to me. That would to me mean that I think you're. That's how you will know I really don't respect you.
I am not asking for you not to use more terms. That's not what I'm saying. What up? Truth and purpose. Next is Tap In. Good afternoon, big homie. Good afternoon to you too, sir. What I'm not saying is that women need to make themselves smaller.
I didn't say women. I said me. I said
you.
Me.
I'm not talking about you specifically. You can use whatever terms you want. You know that. What I'm talking about is in general, the generality of men and women. There is a word deficit, and everybody talks about the inarticulation of men. We use less words. Men don't like to talk. We don't want to hear us talk. So all the understanding around men is that we use less words. And then we're going to keep throwing more words at a less word problem.
Y'all need to start using more words then.
That's not that simple.
Be specific with your words. You can't be specific if you don't have words for specific things.
If you can say, I won't allow a man to make me smaller to make him comfortable, you're not going to make us bigger to make you comfortable.
What?
I know it sounded weird after I said it. It sounded weird after I said it.
No, I'm just saying, like for me, to limiting my vocabulary to me,
right,
would be me making myself smaller. Now I'm always able because I am able. I don't use words I don't understand, so I'm always able to break it down to a lower level. I mean, that's fine. If somebody say, "Can you explain it in another way?"
Yeah.
I've done that to you. I'm like, I don't really get what you're saying. So can you say it in another way?
Absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, I'm not finna. Yeah, y'all gonna get these words,
and we not gonna change either. And then
that's fine. But you gonna get these words.
Why would you want to give these words to people that can't take them?
Because once I give you the words, if you don't care to, if you just like, I don't understand and you can't seek that, or you restate it in your own, you don't have to talk like me. You don't have to talk like me. So what's the issue? I'm not requiring you to speak like me.
Let's use it. Let's make it something.
I have emotional confidence.
Brie has a lot of emotional confidence.
You don't have to speak like me.
Let's say you're trying to pay in coins, right?
Mm-hmm.
You want to pay in coins. And the more words you use, or the smaller the coin you're using. So you owe me $50, but you decide to use pennies. A guy would just give you a $50 bill, maybe 5 10s, 2 20s and a 10, 2 20s and 2 5s. Simple. Bam, take that money. You want to pay in pennies, unwrapped.
Okay.
Like it's its problem.
What's the problem?
It's a lot to handle.
If you don't take your ass to Coin Star after.
See what I'm saying?
I mean, I could take myself to Coin Star before also.
There you go. Take yourself to Coinstar.
But see, then they're gonna give me the voucher and then only Kroger take it. So maybe we not at Kroger. So maybe you take these pennies. Do you want the $50 or no?
I don't want them like this.
Okay, so then you don't want the $50.
No, I want the $50.
No, you don't. You can't see. That's the problem. Do you want this $50 or not?
I don't want these pennies. See, it can be given to me.
You don't want the $50. This the $50 I got
5 rolls of quarters.
I got $50, but I got $50 in pennies. So do you want the $50 I am able to give you, or do you not want the $50?
I want $50 in quarters.
The way you want $50.
But you're trying to give me $50 the way you want to give it.
Because that's the only way I got the $50.
Convert it.
You convert it. I'm the one I pulled up in the store with the $50 I had. You mad at me because I only got $50 in pennies.
Dang, so nobody wants the burden of converting.
You the store though. You the person. You the person. I was like, I'm born with my $50 in pennies. And you talking about something? Well, you don't want the $50 then. Go find you a man who can give you a $50 bill.
Why? I just thought about that. Like, wait a minute. So nobody wants the burden of having to convert so the other person.
That's y'all, because I'm gonna take that $50 however you got it. I'll take Dogecoin, cryptocurrency, pennies, nickels. I'm gonna take any kind of currency as long as it's valid currency. I would take my $50 however I can get my $50. That's me, because I'm a capitalist. I'm gonna take my $50. That's not a lie. I'm gonna take them pennies.
In the analogy, as far as words, y'all won't take a few words. You're gonna say, don't you have anything smaller than that? That's too big of a bill. I need you to break that down into a whole bunch of smaller pieces.
No, I said you don't have to talk like me. You can pay however you want to pay.
That's you. Like I said, I was talking in general.
I think that's a blanket statement.
That's what general means.
I'm just saying, like, I don't know. I just feel like.
See, that was too big of a word.
Okay, women coming, they like the old people writing checks at the Publix. You know? Y'all be mad because she pulled out her checkbook.
Mm-hmm.
She old. You know she finna pull out that checkbook. She old. You know she finna pull out that checkbook. You supposed to have the check machine.
That sounds ageist. After this whole conversation, you talking about the old people with the checkbook.
They do.
Sound a little ageist.
I used to be a cashier at Publix, and every time you see an old lady coming up, it's like, I know that checkbook coming. Or she got cash.
Didn't even start filling it out.
She didn't even pre-fill it out. She didn't pre-fill it out. She keep asking me how much the total is.
Jesus.
Because she got to write it out in plain English and in numerical. Like,
oh, Ethel.
You know, then you got to run it through the little machine. You know, you know it's coming.
No, I've been there.
Y'all petty. So once again, if you want the $50 the way a man would give you $50, then you go ask a man for $50.
Thank you, Yellow. You saw that. You saw it, but it's cool.
He told me I'm liking to pennies. What do you mean?
Yeah. It's
no, right. You established that I paid in pennies in your story. So what's the problem?
The thing was, you said you would take any form of payment. You would take the $50 bill. But when I gave the $50 bill, you immediately asked for change. You didn't notice it. But I was like, it's general. I feel like that's a blanket statement. So you broke it down from the $50 bill to 2 20s and a 10. Because general and blanket statement mean the same thing. But you had to break it down from general because you needed a smaller bill. Because
you are making a blanket statement about women. But I see what you mean. Once again, you don't have to use the words I use. I can reiterate what you said in my own words. Y'all control freaks. That's really what's the day we gonna have a show where we talk about y'all need to control because of your feelings of inadequacy, whether it's your vocabulary or whatever. You can talk how you want to talk. I'm gonna say it how I want to say it, and when I restate it back to you, I'm not gonna use the words you use, because unlike you, I have other words in my vocabulary that I could use to say the same thing you just said. So when we gonna have that conversation?
Hey, we can have it whenever, because you're wrong.
Your mama wrong. You wrong.
Bree is feisty today.
No, you wrong.
That's right.
I'm
not wrong.
Please keep your vocabulary to a 5th grade level, because it's making me uncomfortable. It's making me uncomfortable. I don't care. You're going to get this collegiate level at vocabulary.
Exactly. There you go. Whatever. Anyway,
get good at words. I bet you can't see me in Scrabble. I bet you can't see me in Scrabble. Exactly. So y'all better get good in life. Don't come for me, because y'all can't win a Scrabble game.
We can win a Scrabble game.
No, y'all can't.
We just prefer to play.
Y'all not winning. You can't see me in Scrabble.
Uno.
You can't. Yeah, I know. Keep the playing field level so we can feel superior. I got it. But bet you can't see me in Scrabble though.
All right, y'all. Listen, we can head out of here. Bree, I don't know why she always said want to fight. I don't even know what it is, but
I'm not saying.
We're gonna do one on control. We're gonna do one on controlling this because that is something that we need to talk about. That is a thing that happens between men and women. There is a level of control and people fighting for control and fighting for their way. So we're definitely going to have that conversation at some point. But Bree, when is your next stream? What's your schedule looking like?
Tomorrow, me and Shy are going live. We don't know what we're talking about. What did we talk about last week? I don't even remember what we talked about last week. Yeah, I feel like we had a good show, but I just don't remember what it was about. Controlism. The need for control.
What was it?
I don't know. It was a good show, but I think we talked about a couple things. Like we it was more of a free form. I think what keeps you from being the person you want to be. I think that's what we talked about last week. So we don't know what we're going to talk about, but I'm sure it's going to be great. So it'll be spell misandry. So I think that, whatever we talk about, it'll be great. That's at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time tomorrow. Right, so that's my next scheduled stream.
Right. Why you are where you want to be in life.
Why you are who you want to be. So
yes, I do remember that question. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Maybe we'll talk about building memories or something like that. I don't know. We'll talk about something.
Yeah. I mean, I know you talk about that roundabout. You end up talking about the way your family does milestone type things. So I think that's kind of cool too. You guys are very intentional, including the whole thing about the holiday, using one holiday to set up your vacations.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of cool.
And how I'm never going to do Christmas I don't know how y'all lived a whole lifetime doing traditional Christmas. This is whack.
Yeah. Miss Andree. Exactly. All the time. She stayed in. But that's your next one. That's cool. But we'll definitely talk at some point. And then the 13th. You're still down for the 13th?
Yes. I don't know what I agreed to, but I'll be there.
The court thing.
That's the 13th. Okay. Yeah, I'll be there.
Cool.
Man, right, it makes sense. Keep playing.
I'm just gonna real quick just let everybody know what I'm doing next, and I'm gonna be off here. But I appreciate you. Thank you so much, Bree Sama. Have a good one. Thank you. All right, y'all. Listen, I am going to be on Yellow Pill Coffee Co. in roughly 2 hours. Absolutely, Dawn. Thank you for being here. Thank you for hanging out in the chat. Thank you for keeping the conversation going. I really do appreciate that. That means a lot to me. So we will be over on Yellow Pill Coffee Co. a little bit later. We are doing something game related. It is the Geo mode on WWE. Yellow's in the wrestling. So if you don't mind wrestling, come on by. We will be going through our second round of hosting shows and simulating those and see who comes out with the most money and the most fans. I will be doing that later on around 6 p.m. Tomorrow, if you are on Twitch, I will be on Six Boss's channel. I have to get back in contact with her. She did message me. It should be 8 p.m. Eastern on Twitch on Six Boss. Number 6, I-I-X Boss. So Six Boss is spelled like that. So come through the Twitch tomorrow, 8 p.m.-ish. She said 8 p.m., but she asked me again. So it may switch, but I'm gonna say 8 p.m. tomorrow. Thursday, I know I won't be on. You can look for Quiet Bree or Yella. Friday, me, Yella, and Bree, and I don't have a time yet. Me, Yella, and Bree are going to be trying something totally different. I haven't seen anybody else do this. It will not be a conversation. It will be something else. So please come back on Friday. I'll try to make it I don't know if Hanifa's streaming, because I always try to watch Hanifa. I know she goes at 5. But I don't know what time she's going to go on, because I know she missed a couple of weeks. So we'll see. But keep an eye out. Friday, we'll be doing something called Passing the Bar. Critically drinking, Passing the Bar. So look out for that on Friday. It will be a lot of fun. So look for that. Step into your purpose. You know what, Don? I'm still not completely comfortable with that. But, I'm trying to do some things. I'm trying to be present. What was that line? I'm trying to adopt this in 2023. I can't be here at the right time if I'm not here at any time. So if I don't show up, I'll always miss the right time. She's on a break? Okay. So it may be late afternoon, East Coast Friday. It may be like around this time right now. It may be around this exact same time on Friday. So look for us. It may be an hour. Maybe about an hour, maybe 2, but yeah. If I'm not here, if I'm not present, I'll miss the gift. But if I'm not present, I'll miss out on the gift. But anyway, I'm trying to be more present. I'm trying to be more intentional in 2023. So you'll see me on a more regular basis until such time as I do decide to find a few. But in the meantime, I really appreciate y'all. I'm trying to do something better than I did nothing. Something is better than nothing. So I'll keep on that path until I can. So hopefully all of you have a wonderful evening. Look out for me on Yella's in about 2 hours, hour and a half now. Tomorrow night on Six Boss. Friday with me, Bree, and Yella. Then we'll go into the weekend from there. But I really appreciate all of y'all spending this time with me. It really means a lot. Time is the most expensive thing you have to spend. We talked about ageism. You don't want to look back and say, man, I wasted an hour and a half, 2 hours with Rashawn. No. Hopefully you enjoyed your time, enjoyed the conversation, and participate, because you do get out what you put in. So thank each and every one of you. I really mean that. I did play an intro, so I am going to play an outro, and I will get out of your way. Y'all can have the rest of your day to yourselves. And where is the ism outro? Thank y'all so much. And
so what is this ism?
Here's the answer to your problems. Dr. Utopia's sensational new discovery, ism. Ism will cure any ailment of the body politic. It's terrific. It's tremendous. Once you swallow the contents of this bottle, you'll have the bountiful benefit of higher wages, shorter hours, and security. Enormous profits, no strikes. Remember, you're the big boss.
You know how long the ism been around?
Yeah.
The ism probably been around longer than the Illuminati. But we have different rituals. It's always a ritual to a secret society that we live in. Ism is a secret society. It's a culture. It's a vernacular.
When you expand your emotional vocabulary, you expand your awareness of yourself. When you expand your emotional vocabulary, you understand how you can navigate in this bitch. This fucking weird-ass world that is so hard on y'all. Let's acknowledge that the world is very difficult for y'all, but y'all are not making it any easier, bruh. You're not. You might not like my fucking delivery, but motherfuckers is starting to talk, shaking the tables. I don't give a fuck.
Not a good day. Okay? Now back to that one.
Oh my God, she's so hot.